We have detected a large chamber beyond this wall.
According to our scans, this thing is rigged to kill anyone who tries to open it.
It is safe to proceed.
You, got a little something right there.
So, hello and welcome. I'm Anti-Derivative Jill, and this is Indefinite Lunch in Infinite Combinations, number 19. Today I'm joined with Pop Culture Curator to review the Orville New Horizons, Season 3, Episode 5, A Tale of Two Topas. And also today we have Dalek 451. Thank you for joining me today, Pop Culture and Dalek.
My pleasure, Jill. Good to see you, Jill.
Yeah, it's always great to see y'all.
Glad you gave that Stream Elements bot a kick in the butt. I guess I need to do that with my stream next time.
Mm-hmm. Well, it started running, but it isn't populating the chat with everybody's link like it should. So, yeah, it's been like Raymond says here. He's saying the Stream Elements bot is lazy, and also he's lurking. And also, Gorilla's Random Thoughts is also lurking. He's working. He's got to work. Got to work sometime for that money. And Dalek is here. Welcome, Dalek.
You already introduced me.
I know. So make sure to subscribe to Pop Culture Curator and Dalek, and I'll figure out the links later, since the bot doesn't want a bot for me today. And hello in the chat to Hungry for Oprah to leave the Orville.
Hail, Hungry, so good to see you.
Hungry for Oprah to leave the Orville.
Well, first they have to get her to fit on the Orville, and then they can get her to leave the Orville.
Yeah. So do you guys want to tell me a little bit about your channels before we get started? What's going on this week for y'all?
Go for it, Dalek.
Oh, sorry, hang on a sec here.
Well, I'll go then, I guess.
All right. What's been going on with me this week?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. How are you doing?
Not that much. I've been I guess I've been rewatching some old stuff. I've been getting some writing done.
Oh yeah, watching old stuff is always a good thing to do. So that's great. Okay, so and is that all?
I think that's about it.
All right. Okay. What about you, Pop Culture? What do you have going on this week?
I have my Ray Bradbury Theater watch party, and I'll be having some more Hollywood filming location videos that I'll be posting up. I'll be starting up an Amazing Stories watch party as soon as I can figure out a good time.
Oh,
and
yeah.
For everyone.
I really like that one Amazing Stories you showed the other day. The Mommy Daddy was hilarious. Oh,
I'm glad you liked it. That was just a taste. It was a good show. It had a few stinker episodes, but the show was generally good.
Yeah, I could tell. That was quite the episode. It comedy doesn't really work on me very well usually, and for that one to have me rolling on the floor the entire time was pretty incredible.
It was made right when Spielberg was in his prime. That was right in the mid '80s when he was doing E.T. and all that kind of stuff. Right when he was doing the Goonies, producing the Goonies, not directing. Mm-hmm. But Back to the Future, all this was done around the same time, mid '80s. That was '85, '86. So, and Batteries Not Included, for example, all that was around the same time. So it was when he was still in his prime.
That makes sense. Of course, I love Batteries Not Included, so that's great.
And now you can see where it kind of fits into the jive of the show, how it's a family show.
Right, a family show with, some kind of supernatural or sci-fi elements. That's fun.
Yep.
Very cool. And I had to put some some links in the chat manually since the bot doesn't want to work today.
Come on, bot, wake up.
So,
I'll go over there and
I know,
kick it in the
right?
butt.
There's gorillas and Daleks.
Hail, Darius.
and
Hello,
King
Gorilla.
Dolphin.
Good to see you all. Hello, Cardinal. Matt G.
And
Hello.
Darius there. I'd love to get on my personal PC and type in your name. Hungry boy. Oh, and hello in the chat to Cardinal Sin. Hey, Maggie. How are you doing today? Thank you for being here. And there's a Resolute Germs channel, if that's still right. And here's Cardinal Sin's channel. Be sure to check out Cardinal Sin today. Today he has on Canadian Spider-Man and Clobberin Times, and they're going to talk about Spidey comics. And if you join that stream, you might just win one. So that could be fun. Naughty body. Yeah, Hungry Boy. It's a naughty body. To make it easy, just always call me HB. Okay? Okay, if you want to be called HB, I will call you
Sounds
HB.
good.
Yeah, right? Okay, so today we review Season 3, Episode 5, A Tale of Two Topas. We will have a spoiler review coming up, so before we begin, I will show the countdown for the spoiler so that those who want to go see the show can go watch it. And other great channels are producing content for the Orville, so please also go check out Orville Nation with PJ, Talking the Orville with JP, The Nerdporial Lifeform, Resolute Germ, Clobberin Times, well, maybe not Clobberin Times anymore, Mark D with the C, and Potato Revan. And I will be on the Nerdporial Lifeform stream tomorrow when the new episode drops. I will be on his after show for the first time. So check that out. So without spoiling it, I can put out that this was a very melancholy. This made me very nostalgic for the sci-fi that we got in the Orville seasons 1 and 2. And I'm not even talking about any action. I miss the simple act of exploring the universe, learning about something fantastic or unexplored.
Laughing.
Right,
Comedy,
laughing.
Yeah.
Maybe my favorite episode of season 1, a lot of people's favorite is Majority Rule, but mine was New Dimensions because it did that. We got to learn about a pocket of space that contained different dimensions, something outside of, your normal perception of reality.
Yeah, the characters fit back then. They were written for comedy, so it was lighthearted. So the decisions they made sense within a comedy realm. That's what I think is so conflicting now is you still have the same characters, but within a different realm. And please, during the stream, there's a lot of people out there, Jill, who are not aware of your theory about the alternate universe. If you could possibly bring that up during the stream.
Okay, my theory about the alternate universe is that the alternate timeline is that during the Road Not Taken, when we entered that alternate universe that was like Star Wars, but where the Kaelon won and destroyed Earth. Well, when Kelly goes back to when she goes back in time to make sure that the memory engram, the memory erasure takes place, so that she'll be with Ed, and being with Ed helps him become captain of the Orville. Well, when she quote unquote fixes that at that moment, that is the new timeline, and everything we see after that is why we get why we get what we see as the refit, but really it's just a different ship, different uniforms, lots of different things. So that's my theory there. And I don't think I'm the only one who thinks that. Also, Kelly in the 4th episode said everything seems different on this side of time. And I feel like that's a hint to that.
So what she's saying, everyone, is that she thinks that this is the reason why the mood has changed on the show. Not because necessarily because it's now owned by Hulu and not Fox, and the production change, but within the show itself, the reason why the mood has changed.
Yeah, thank you for trying, Darius. It looks like my bot's still lazy.
You
But
need to fire your bot and get another one, I guess. Huh?
right, I know, right? I could actually. There are other bots. Yeah, yes, the third timeline without jokes.
You think that's why I found this episode so hard to watch?
And Darius says, "My ship is the lollipop. She is a good ship." That's from Star Trek: The Next Generation, where Riker is trying to trick this AI.
My ship is the lollipop. She's a good ship. What?
Yeah, there's a weapons
From the
AI.
song. It's from the song. It's a good. I'm the good ship lollipop, isn't that? It's the little girl who would sing. I can't remember what it's from.
I've heard that song. Yeah.
On the good ship lollipop.
Good ship lollipop. Who hasn't heard that?
I think it may have been that little girl. I can't remember her name, but go ahead. Curly hair, red haired girl.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you know,
that wasn't from Annie, was it? That song. Was that from something else?
Oh, I don't know. I just know it from Star Trek. It's just funny. Anyway, like I was saying, I'm missing a lot of sci-fi in this episode. And also when they did have character stuff in that New Dimensions episode, it was about giving John a chance to grow and become a chief engineer, you know, and that was really fun, amazing, inspiring. But this, the
Shirley
Tale of Two
Temple.
Topas,
That was the name I couldn't think of. Shirley Temple is the actress who sang it.
Oh, Shirley
Sorry, go ahead.
Temple. Okay. Shirley Temple,
Yeah.
not Annie.
Correct. Go ahead.
Okay, that's all right. This, the Tale of Two Topas is entirely 100% drama episode. So we have soap opera.
Soap opera.
Right, yes, sir. So while
Political soap opera. There's the different kinds within the subgenre, right?
Mm-hmm.
You can have a romance soap opera. You can have a political one. So we had a political one, which is the worst.
Which is why I was so bored by this episode.
Mm-hmm. Yes, lots of scenes dragged on. I agree. While it is a storyline continuation and ultimately a conclusion that many people hope to see, including myself, the manner in which it has been done brings up many questions as to its motives. So the only way to look at it is to look at the fictional aspects only and not any kind of real life allegory, which is what I'll try to do, but I will have to mention it at least once. And also, as an addendum to everything said in the stream, we are not doctors, and if you are having real trouble, please seek professional help. Do not consult a television show, online streaming, YouTube, or social media for these types of issues. But since it happens to be in our sci-fi show today, we will need to talk about some things. But like any episode that puts the drama above the sci-fi, I will not have as many notes. So without spoilers, what do you think of this episode, Pop Culture?
Well, usually I come out and say it had good special effects, but I don't remember many special effects in this episode. This literally had a lack thereof. I think it was mostly just the politics.
Maybe you could say it had good music.
I don't remember the music. I thought it was a chore to watch. I thought I was being browbeaten by Disney again. Political politics. It was like a 60-minute PSA. I'll put it that way. But anyway, next.
I couldn't agree more. Pop Culture. This episode was beyond a chore to watch. It was oh god, it was so boring.
Opera. Yes, hungry for opera to leave the Orville.
Hungry for Oprah to leave the Orville.
I thought it was Oprah, but it's opera. And
the words are interchangeable, opera and
with moralistic nagging. I thought it was Oprah at first too, but I was confused.
And soap
But I get it.
opera with a moralistic nagging, right?
So, was I watching the Orville or a long-form crappy Samantha Bee parody skit? Says hungry for opera to leave the Orville. And
I would
Germ
say it was
says,
more like a skit on RuPaul's Drag Race. That's what I would. If there was any show that it would fit on, it would be that one.
Second.
And Resolute Germ, and we respect your opinion here. Absolutely, there are lots of people who absolutely love this episode, and I won't take that away from them. That is absolutely, we're here for everyone today.
Yep, we listen to all opinions.
And I meant both, Winfrey included. Okay. So, and Darius says, I didn't even pick up on the double entendre.
hungry, Oprah.
So, this episode first aired on June 30th, 2022. So, just last week. It was written and directed by Seth MacFarlane, with music done by Andrew Coddy. And this episode is a clear reference to A Tale of Two Cities. So,
only in name only, everybody. Name only.
Yeah, no, in name only. Yeah, not in.
Yeah, they always do.
Construction.
Right, they want to get sound deeper to lure. Right, they want to get sound deeper than what it is to lure people in.
Isn't that a thing these days? Every show does that. They always do the punny take on things that came before. I mean, seriously, it's always like that.
I can pretty much guarantee you that none of the writing staff has ever read A Tale of Two Cities. They just heard the name before, or they saw it on Star Trek.
Yeah, certainly not going to be of as high a caliber as Charles Dickens.
Oh, sorry, I'll keep that down. Sorry, go ahead. On to the CGI bird. By the way, anybody who has any knowledge, I remember I brought this up, was it last week or the week before? Gravity and physics, there's no way that thing can fly at the speed it's going, and it doesn't have the feathers to keep it aloft, or the propulsion. It's totally CGI, and you can tell it was put in at the last minute. But
yeah, that was so.
The way look how skinny it is. There's no way it would be flying. There's no way it would be aloft.
From the instant I saw that, it just looks so fake.
Yeah, it was like an afterthought that show said, "Well, can't you throw something in there to kind of liven it up?" Because it makes you leads you to believe is wow, there's some kind of creatures and or dinosaurs on the planet. Whoa, we're gonna get a really good episode. Maybe it'll be them on Jurassic Park, huh? Hey, right?
Yeah.
I mean, this.
That was the promise.
The trailer was a lie because this right here is what we got in the trailer.
Bait and switch.
Right. The opening. Okay, so for those who would like to avoid spoilers for this episode, please pause the video, watch later, and add it to your watch later. And here's a spoiler warning for A Tale of Two Topas. All right, so the opening scene promises a grand archaeological adventure that is ultimately not really to be, like my panel just mentioned. Instead, it only serves as a vehicle to give Charlie some things to do and provide some type of contrived and inspiring symbolism of self-discovery. Like, if nobody saw that, that's okay, because it doesn't make any sense. And then they get to the main chamber of the tomb and have found it is riddled with booby traps. And Isaac decides that he will be unharmed by them and allows a rain of them to pummel on him.
AKA Raiders.
It is now safe to proceed.
Right, that's from Raiders of the Lost Ark, people. For those that don't know.
That right there is the only highlight of this episode because that actually made me laugh.
Right, the one lighthearted scene. I agree.
And
not only that, but I was thinking. I'm sorry, I'll make it fast. But I was thinking, wow, they finally brought Isaac along for the first time.
I know,
Somebody was
right?
actually thinking, yes. All right, go ahead.
Right. You knew it had to be too good to be true. This is the first of 3 times in this episode in which he is the hero. In this case, I'm a little disappointed that no one showed any concern that Isaac might be risking his life. Anytime Data would volunteer for risky missions, someone would usually express some kind of concern for him, and then Data would reassure him that'll be fine. But, it's just little things like that to remind us that the crew cares for one another. But I guess it's fine. This is, like you guys said.
They're saving all that emotional depth for later, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Right. Who cares about Isaac this episode? So. And Resolute Germ says, I'm very surprised that the creators aren't getting hate for something that can be interpreted as positive on detransitioning.
Well, the question is whether they are or not. It seems like they don't care, so they're doing it. That's why I don't understand why they're doing it. So
this episode could be interpreted in many ways. The script has enough crappiness and laziness to keep folks busy, said Hungry Boy. It was a lousy MacGuffin. And Gorilla says, would have been the best episode if Chuckles got taken out of the booby trap.
Right, let her step forward.
Are you kidding me?
There'd be her character arc, yeah.
Well, I really hope that it wasn't just Isaac, stepping into all the booby traps of this whole temple. That seems like, that it might get to him eventually, because they do de-arm the entire place.
Yeah, a crushing boulder. I mean, there's many things it could be, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Right.
They could have gone. Yeah. That would have been. That really would have been Indiana Jones if they come with the boulder.
Hungry Boy says, usually the lefty types are more crazy over that than anything else, says Resolute Germ. And I'm going to try not to read anything that's too political again. I didn't realize that was going to happen. So here we go. There's the treasure. So here we learn that Charlie has a deep interest in archaeology.
All of a sudden.
All of a sudden.
And knowledge.
And she can see in the 4th dimension. And she's a great pilot. And
right, everything except personality. Who knows?
I don't know. She doesn't like Isaac. That's her personality.
Well, it's not just Isaac. She has a condescending attitude towards everybody. She doesn't follow orders, and the way she responds even to other people. But oh well, that's an opinion.
Yes, it is, and
okay,
I tend to agree with that one.
All right, we get it. She's the bestest ever.
It's beginning to look that way. They need to write a few flaws into her to make her appear a little more human, to avoid that trope. But I don't see that yet.
I honestly didn't mind her at first.
Right, she was fine at first. I was defending her in the first episode. So here we are.
My favorite of the season.
And that the culture of the tomb, they were studying the Heblasite Empire, who were similar to the ancient Egyptians. So that's it. That's that scene.
And that's that.
So forget all about that. We're not going to learn anything about the Heblasite culture or anything fun.
Right, apparently that's their B plot, I guess, right?
Well, it's what they want to
Sad
be
to
the
say,
plot,
right?
but it doesn't
that
become
should be the
anything.
plot, but oh well.
It's just complete. Yep, it's just completely wasted.
So we see Topa. Yeah, we see Topa for the first time in a long time, and we see she's played by a young lady.
A new Topa, yeah.
Imani Polam. So we know immediately what's going to happen in this episode. It's something that's been a long time coming and takes nearly an hour to occur from this moment.
And apparently the physical change of the character Topa happened off screen, I guess, because now it even looks and completely built like a different person. But oh well.
Right. And here's a bit of her Kobayashi Maru simulation here.
Return fire!
Sir, the Kalon have disabled our forward targeting scanners.
Implement source redirect from the navigational array.
I guess I kind of like seeing a Mocklin ship. I've never seen before.
Yeah, they're not saving her up to save the day at the end, are they?
Even when Topa's
Strong
giving orders,
female,
she sounds monotone and bored.
Well, no, you could tell they used a synthesizer on her voice to drop it an octave, so it didn't sound like a girl yet.
Right, so right. I said she, but she's still a he.
Well, the voice, they just used a synthesizer and they dropped her voice about an octave to make it sound a little deeper. That's all. And then at the end, after the transition, it's her normal voice. So no big deal there. That's how they always do it.
That voice bugged me so much.
Well, it was synthetic, so that might be one of the reasons.
That makes sense. Right, because they had to make her appear a male.
Right.
And she loses pretty quickly. But and after this simulation, I did kind of like seeing the Mocklin ship, but that was seeing their little panels and stuff. But she loses in 7 minutes and explains to Kelly that she wants to join Union Point and become part of the Union. And I'm not certain, but okay. So Topa, I should have done the math, but I didn't. She's around 2 or 3 years old at most, but at the same time, as grown up so quickly, she appears to be, in early to late adolescence.
Or I guess puberty.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so that makes me wonder, is how young Bortus is.
Alien biology, I guess.
Yeah, that's the excuse. Yeah, and also the Krill daughter, Ed Mercer's daughter, is also aged up from just being a year old to being 9 years old.
Have they ever explained Topa's aging process within the show? I don't remember. I don't think so.
No, we have to just guess at it. But it is
okay.
It's important to note.
This is the Krill all over again.
Right. Yeah, physically and mentally, she appears to be a teenager, but is chronologically a toddler. This episode doesn't describe how Mocklins age so quickly, but I'm used to Orville not describing biology much, if at all.
That doesn't mean it's right. It wouldn't hurt them to just throw it in sometime or another to explain a few things so we're not out here speculating like this.
Mm-hmm. And I'm just here about the bad writing, not the political, says Hungry Boy.
I agree, Hungry, but careful.
I know. It's tough. It's tough to walk around that.
I agree again.
Chuckles is a snotty Mary Sue, says Hungry Boy. And Raymond Feliciano says, if I was Talea, I would break her in two. Headless sight, says Darius. Oh, maybe I mispronounced it. I don't know. There's some kind of aliens that nobody really actually cares about in this episode. Hungry Boy says, was instantly obvious that Topa was now played by a girl.
I agree, yeah. In fact, this scene here when Kelly walked in there, she should have said, who are you? What'd you do with Topa?
Lazy scripting.
Just kidding.
Gorilla says, why does everyone complain about Mocklin growing up in 3 years? But oh no, wait, I'm not complaining about it. I'm just saying they didn't talk about it. They had an entire episode surrounded by how shocked everybody was that Jem'Hadar was growing so quickly.
And they've had several episodes.
Was incredible.
And they've had several episodes to explain the Mocklin's aging process. Mm-hmm. They've never done it. They
there was
brought up any time.
There was a whole incredible episode on Deep Space Nine about getting saddled with a baby Jem'Hadar, and they saw how quickly that Jem'Hadar grew over the episode, and they studied it, and they talked about it, and the whole episode was about the biology of Jem'Hadar.
And Troy, when she got impregnated by that alien, remember, it grew rapidly, so it's not like that hasn't been done. But like, in my opinion, they don't even need a whole episode to explain it. Just a line or two.
Yeah, that's right. That Jem'Hadar grew really fast, and then it went on a it went wild and went on a rampage to the station.
Right. Right,
Yeah.
exactly.
They don't have to spend a whole episode explaining the aging process. It could have just been a throwaway line by the doctor
I
at any
agree.
time during any episode.
Yeah, right. They didn't even give us a line is all we're complaining about. Not that it has occurred. Just that there's no explanation.
I mean, one thing you gotta remember about the Jem'Hadar is, they're manufactured. They're supposed to be like battle ready in as almost as soon as they're born.
Exactly. That's right. And we first saw Topa long ago in that heartbreaking but very well done episode about a girl, which we reviewed many weeks ago. In that episode, we learned that the Moclan females, that more Moclan females are born than are admitted to by the Moclans, including Clyden, who had an operation to become male when he was a baby too. In our original review, I described what happened to Topa from my human perspective as mutilation, because of course it seems like child abuse. But the Moclans see it as correcting a genetic defect. And this episode addresses and corrects that, but it takes so very long to get there. So we have
Well,
to.
I have to, if I can interject
Sure, go
for
ahead.
a second.
Yes, please do.
Is I've heard both sides when it comes to time with this episode
Mhm.
passing. I've heard people say in the reviews the same thing as you. They said, well, it was really slow. This, like Dalek said, the episode was boring, slow, progress, moving. And then I heard another faction where they said the decision to what they did to that kid should never be rushed, and it shouldn't have been rushed like it was within the show. And people were saying, well, yeah, they only had an hour to talk about it, so they had to rush it through. So there's two opinions out there. I'm not saying which one I am or where I stand in between the two, but it just didn't make sense, either one, I guess. But it's true. I mean, if a kid comes up and says they're having doubts, you don't immediately act on it and rush on it and make sure it's done within a day or two, right? I mean,
right.
So, but some of us were like, this is a bad soap opera. Anyway,
Jill,
go ahead.
Yes, Dalek.
I'm unfortunately I'm gonna have to drop out at this point.
Okay, I understand.
Take care, Dalek.
Yeah, hopefully I'll see you again next week.
Okay, see you next time, Dalek. Thank you for joining me for as long as you can.
Yeah, see you, Jill.
See ya. Have a good day.
Thank you.
And so Kelly has taken up the task of mentoring Topa, first taking him on her rounds to gather information on how ship operations and the crew work and how she deals with them. And so they meet up with this ensign Bulbo Bar. And he is a Belcarian officer.
Wow, we're still in the opening credits.
Well, yeah, we got past the theme song. And he has to get rid of his clothes on the first day of every month according to his religion.
Yeah, I didn't like this scene.
Yeah, which reminded me of the Beta Z, who wear nothing, but only when they're getting married. It's not like they do it once a month or anything.
No, but I think it's still on the nose considering it's a middle-aged chubby guy. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, obvious, right? Why he was why the actor was chosen, right?
Well, this was an attempt at humor, but it doesn't really work on me for some reason.
It didn't on me either. I don't know anybody else who did, but okay.
It's meant to demonstrate Kelly's ability to compromise, so it works for that. It would seem like this would have been brought up already while he was at Union Point, and like, hey, you want to be in the military, you got to wear clothes, right?
Oh yeah, exactly
like,
right. He wasn't right. He wasn't born today, literally, right?
Yeah, right. And yet he's in his birthday suit. So here,
our only cameo of Yaphet.
Yeah, I know, and yeah. Anyway.
And you notice he's sorely missed in this entire season. We've seen him very little, sad to say.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. I need to go back and clip him exiting that exosuit because I really liked that. Harry butt crack alien. Thanks, Seth. I think by this point it's clear that the formula of longer episodes and shorter seasons does not work too well, says Resolute Germ. And I'm going to try that at work. No, don't do that. Dalek says, why was this even in the episode?
Yeah, exactly.
It was meant to it was meant to inform the whole episode somehow. Like I think it was saying, here's somebody who's sticking to their tradition and Kelly has to deal with it. And that's Clyden sticking to his tradition and Kelly has to deal with it.
Right, and apparently that's the only way they could set an example. Apparently, was in this way, in this fashion.
Mm-hmm.
Shows a lot of imagination, doesn't it?
Very simple, very simple. So here Topa can understand this alien.
Who can talk about believing these guys?
I like that. I have to say, I did like that scene because you could tell that's actually the actor talking, making up whatever the gibberish words are, rather than some synthetic type thing. So I like that, and he seemed so earnest. Sorry.
Yeah, I liked him too. I'd like to see more of him, and I guess that's one positive you can say about the episode. They did well with the alien.
Yeah, but it's nice that they had subtitles so we could tell what he was saying.
No, they did. He said,
"Oh, they did." Okay, yeah.
What do you hope to major in?
Oh, that's right. That's right. That's right. I was thinking that because I didn't see it in your clip, but you're right. They did show that. Okay.
And Topa could understand this. She says she wants to be like Commander Grayson. And after so many episodes, we finally have Yaphet. But Yaphet, all he's doing is being kind and polite to his commanding officer, who behind his back just calls him an ass kisser, which is a little bit rude. Not really funny. Yeah. But the real point of this scene is discovering that Topa's reasoning for wanting to join the Union is she feels incomplete. Like something is wrong with... I keep saying her, but she's still him. But I guess...
Well, it's not your fault because of the actress is why you're saying that. So go ahead.
Yes, that's right. That's right. I'm just going to call her she, even though she's male.
Right. Go for it.
Like something is wrong with her and that she's unsure who she is because she is a she who is in a male body somehow. Here we see that Dr. Finn is keeping up with Isaac, who's doing well. So I'm glad to see someone on the ship is caring for him. And Kelly reaches out to her and Captain Mercer about Topa. And Captain Mercer has the correct idea that the parents should be consulted. And so Kelly comes...
Which I agree. I agree about that.
Right. That is the right step. Kelly joins Bortus and Clyden for dinner to let them know. Topa is feels like something is wrong with him. And if they'd consider whether telling him that he was altered to be male. And Bortus looks concerned, but Clyden is outraged at the notion and basically kicks her out.
If I may just for a second, the reason why Clyden gets upset is because to him, what her discussion and her bringing it up to their family is disrespectful and it's shameful because it's none of her business.
Right.
So I wanted to give a basis why Clyden was upset. He didn't just explode for no reason, but it's something that, according to their religion, their philosophy, or their race, it's just not something discussed outside the family. Is all. So.
Yes, Clyden is the perspective of Moklis. Whatever the traditions of Moklis goes through, we see through Clyden.
Yes, and the reason why I explain this, and also the reason why the anger is, this is my opinion, people. Don't shoot me. But this is how the writers are framing all religion and Christian people as Clyden. And that's how they're going to deal with Clyden in this episode.
Yeah, and he says things like,
all children are unhappy. He will outgrow it.
And I feel like this is Clyden projecting his own unhappiness at what was done to him, possibly. It's possible that he might even have similar feelings to Topa, but is suppressing them. However, neither he nor Bortus reveals that Clyden used to be female to anyone else on the ship. If they did this, maybe Dr. Finn could help, but Clyden does not choose to seek this help. And so he continues to live in this torture alone and suppress himself, and he believes his child should do the same. Any idea that Clyden might feel right with the change is extinguished when Clyden says,
Do you know how much pain I would have been spared had I not discovered that I was born female?
and how much he loves Topa, which contradicts something he says later in this episode. And
no surprise there, yeah. Writing changing from one scene to another, yeah.
Mm-hmm. And also that Topa
may never be happy, but unhappiness is better than despair.
And if Bortus were, if Clyden were confident in himself, he wouldn't lash out so much, I don't think. However, this aspect of Clyden is not really explored at all in this episode. His perspective is not, while the acting
silence
is not
and ignored,
explored.
right? Just like the left do to the right. Yeah, silence and ignored.
Silenced, yes, I think that's a good word. And while the acting by Chad Coleman is splendid, he is just used as a complete villain.
It is. I feel sorry. By the way, everybody, we lose two good characters in this show. Spoilers, we lose the actor who played Clyden, which I'm going to miss dearly, and the actor who played Topa, which I'm also going to miss dearly.
Mm-hmm. Yes, they had the same child actor for Topa for a while. And just as he was in Deflectors, Clyden was the villain in Deflectors as well, which was a really great episode. It dealt with similar issues to this episode in a much more balanced way. But it also did have Clyden as the villain in there, where he was going to turn in a Mocklin male for being attracted to females. And that Mocklin used his engineering to fake his own death, framing Clyden. And Tala redeems Clyden from that false charge. But also, she was mad at the end of the episode because he's still guilty of the bigotry that matches his homeworld.
Well, I guess if you want to call the religion bigotry, but depends how it's framed, I guess.
Well,
remember,
that is how it's framed.
Right, but to him, it's not bigotry. It's their religion and their belief.
Right.
To others, they look at it as bigotry. So what you're doing is you're putting a label on them.
Yes.
And when their culture does not look at it as bigotry.
Right.
That's all I'm saying. So it's another knock at religion.
True.
Yeah, it's calling religious people bigots. Yeah.
Basically. Well,
that's how, like I said, I'm going to defend. By the way, I'm not a religious person, people. I'm not a preacher by any means. I'm not of any particular faith, but I know when a certain sect is being targeted and being written about and framed. So I'm just going to bring it up just to be fair. That's all. Don't attack me. Please. Please don't attack me.
And somehow I believe some kind of psychological intervention with Clyden would have been prudent before this episode, somehow trying to resolve his issues. However satisfying it is to see Topa restored to how she was born, Clyden's villainy continues.
Villainy.
Yeah, continues as he bans Topa from training with Kelly. Yes.
So he's now officially the bad guy, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Officially the bad guy. And so Hungry Boy says, foreshadowing attempt, yes. Too bad it was failed through teenage blogging level writing. And also says, Clyden is instantly painted as a mega butthead. Yes.
Oh, no, literally, she called him a fathead. So you're not even exaggerating.
Throughout the whole episode, just in case you have any sort of feelings for Clyden, they make him worse and worse throughout the episode, culminating in the absolute worst thing you could ever do.
Right. That's why I asked Jill a second ago, is he officially the bad guy now? I guess he is. So they've decided to suddenly piss on his character. Oh well,
Mm-hmm.
to make their point across, and we get the point across.
Well, yeah, their marriage has been strained ever since About a Girl, and that is why that's why
So they
Bortus
use
had
Clyde
that.
as a scapegoat for the character, for the plot.
Yeah, that's why Bortus had that program
Cultural
that infected the
traditionalists.
ship.
Yes, I agree, Hungry. Not necessarily their religion, but their culture, yes. So thank you for correcting me.
At this point, the whole thing already smelled like Let's Please, Kennedy, Kurtzman, and Alonzo, says Hungry Boy. And Dalek says Clyden is just a massive coward. He always has been.
When did they establish that?
Resolute Germ says, didn't he find out when he was an adult? That's very different than from a kid. I don't know when he found out. I don't remember.
Yeah.
I'd have to go back to that episode to find out.
Yeah, I don't remember if they mentioned that or not.
Bortus only found out after he was already married to Clyden, after About a Girl.
Yes.
Oh, hello in the chat to Sci-Fi Nation. I don't recall religion ever being mentioned, just their ideology. And it's just an allegory that pop culture sees.
Right.
Yeah.
Culture. Because they... Right. Well, it's basically demonizing someone who's not like them, right? So it could be their ideology, it could be their culture, it could be their religion. The point is the same. Yeah, thanks.
The syntax of Clyden is too similar to religious family discussions to be ignored as an analogy, says Hungry Boy. And Clyden was my favorite part of this episode, says
Same here. There's somebody that somebody who thinks like me.
And Resolute Germ says something they could have explored if they had more than just 10 episodes. They will never have time for these little details with the current format. I really don't agree. There were so many pauses, so much dragging out, so much, I'm gonna stand here and just huff and puff. They could have made a tight script with actually portraying things in a more balanced way. Because they used to do it. They did it for 2 seasons. Why can't they do it now?
And if I have to say, within contrast, it's like, okay, if they can have 10 episodes to explain this, why are we talking about this on the show called The Orville? Right?
Right. Hello to Pop Culture Republic. It's great to see you. Thank you for joining us.
Republic.
And Dalek says, piss on what character? Clyden was butthole since day one. He never changed. Mm-hmm. And in a way, that's sort of right. But
well, let me put it this way. Was his character written that way?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
He's not bad. He was just written that way. Okay. So Topa visits the astrometrics lab. So this is the part where Charlie shows him what the hamblocytes might have looked like based on technology, the DNA technology they have. They're able to construct an image.
All right, this is where the whole audience gets a whiplash and says, wait, what are we watching? What happened to Topa? It's like these diametrically opposite plots. Okay.
Yeah, well, this isn't even a plot. This is just kind of like, here, take a break from all of that
Filler,
terrible drama.
Which, by the way, will we see a conclusion to this side of the plot? No, but anyway, go ahead.
No, there's actually no conflict. It's not even a plot. It's
we'll just explain what happens at the end. Yeah, just there.
It's just a setting. However, the real purpose of the scene is so that Topa can ask Isaac what it's like to have self-deleted. And here's where Isaac is a hero for the second time in this episode. Instead of keeping Topa's mental state to himself, like Bortus does with Clyden. I mean, I'm not really blaming Bortus because Clyden is an adult and he can seek out help for himself, but I don't know. He immediately takes this information to Kelly. Since
I agree, I did like this particular scene because this is pertinent to today's day and age, right? Where we're telling people that if they see signs to bring it forward. So I do understand that.
Yes, this is good. This is important. And he takes the information to Kelly since he's seen Kelly and Topa interacting more lately, so it kind of makes sense. Although it would have made sense also to go to Dr. Finn, either one.
Captain, I would think first. I would call a meeting for the captain.
The captain too?
Yeah, I don't see why the first officer involved at all unless he talked to her because she's a woman. But in reality, it should have been the captain and the doctor. And then the captain, under his discretion, would have said, well, I want the first officer there as well.
Right.
Anyway, go ahead.
Okay, that makes sense to me too. So.
Because notice in this show, the only women are able to talk about and deal with these issues, right? So that's why he goes to a woman, in my opinion. But don't shoot me, please.
I'm not going to shoot you. I didn't think of that, but I won't shoot you for it. Hungry Boy said, it felt that a group wrote the script for Seth, then had him pop in a few bits, then put his name on the script credit.
Yes.
Yeah, it doesn't match the scripts that he wrote in seasons 1 and 2.
Committee writing, right.
Resolute Germ says Clyden, he found out when he came to live with Bortus on his previous posting. Okay, I will take your word for it because I don't remember. Hungry Boy says, kinda done with flappy head tentacles now. So cliched. Grilla says, hey Jill, you just went live. Why are you starting right in the middle of the show?
I don't know what that means.
I don't know what that means either. I
hope there wasn't a glitch. If there was any glitch or anybody see anything abnormal out there, please let us know.
Yeah, hopefully, if anything, StreamYards will have kept it on. I'll be able to re-upload later. That'll be a pain, and I'll lose the chat. But I put all the chat on the video anyway, so it should be okay.
Okay.
But I will. Thank you for telling me about that, Gorilla. I will check it out after the stream is over and see if there was any issues.
Yes, thank you.
Because everybody seemed to be able to see me at the beginning, and they were talking to me, and they didn't tell me that they couldn't see anything on the screen. So, first officer handles all personal and civilian issues. They did the same thing in Star Trek. Okay, so they talked a lot.
Wait. Oh, they went to Spock?
No, they didn't go to Spock.
That's what I'm saying.
Riker.
I'm like, what? Huh?
You know what? They did the same thing you're saying. They went to
kind
Troy.
of the doctor, right?
They went to Troy.
Or Troy, right?
Yeah, she was the doctor in terms of like she was the psychologist.
Well, right, because the other one, Crusher was a physical doctor and Troy was a psychologist, right?
Right. Right, and this one, Dr. Finn plays both roles.
Yeah, but I don't remember Spock ever handling personal and civilian issues.
Yeah, no, that would be Dr. McCoy. Or the captain. It was always the captain.
Both, yeah.
And Resident Germ says EXO would be the one to go to the doctor. Couldn't do anything without going through Kelly. And Sci-Fi Nation says, I got the notification 48 minutes ago, but was busy.
That's about right.
Thanks for being here, though, Sci-Fi. Glad to see you here. And no glitches here, says Hungry Boy, but that happened to me on Clobby's channel once.
Clobby, you may have your Wi-Fi or something dropping in and out.
Yeah. And
okay, I mean, Gorilla.
Yeah. Yeah, I wish. Let's see Clobby. Anyway.
Oh, I wish Raquel was here. My goodness.
All right. This right here is a really awkward. Well, she probably doesn't want to go through this again. This is a really awkward scene where Kelly tells Topa he should search the database for kimbap cake recipe. And so the way this season is framed is it makes it feel awkward and strange, and it really drags. This whole entire episode really drags out.
Right. It makes us all squirm and feel uncomfortable, which means it should not be in the show. But anyway, they've got a point they want to make across, is what it is. They've got to preach to us, whether we want to hear it or not.
Yeah, it feels like every scene is a long, epic spiral of arduous nothingness to get to the next scene.
You're going to sit here and you're going to listen to what we have to say. That's the way I feel the way these are written. We're supposed to be enjoying ourselves. We're supposed to be on a frolicking space adventure, right?
We were for 2 seasons. And I wouldn't say the first episode was super fun, but it was relevant and I enjoyed it.
World expanding, maybe even. It just seems like their universe is getting smaller and smaller.
Yeah. Right, because they're always self-referential. Every episode so far has a member berry from the past 2 seasons that we really loved.
Or in this case, the entire episode is based on a previous episode.
So right, what they're doing is they're saying, we know you love seasons 1 and 2. Here are episodes based on those seasons you love, so you have to love these too. Topa accesses the database and finds a protected file with Kimbok in the name. Already giving up, he sees that the file is protected, and he has some cake. But then he notices that someone's entered the password for him, and learns the truth that he was born a female. So just to make things clear, sooner than revealed, Bortus is the one who gives this password, because it just takes too long for me for this to be revealed. It's important information. And in sickbay, we see Gordon has eaten a Validian tart and has gained many boils from it, which Claire is treating with less than her usual sympathetic bedside manner. So,
and why? To give the actor screen time.
Yeah.
Kelly it has nothing to do with in the episode, so
yeah,
they had to make room for him somewhere.
Yeah, I mean, I love to see Gordon, but he's just you're right, it has nothing to do with anything. He's just there. And Kelly is there to tell Dr. Finn what she's done, directing Topa to a file about him being born female, and that Topa wants to self-delete. So I didn't even put that clip there, but yeah.
Thank you.
Topa's missed his latchgum, which and when Bortus and Clyden find him in their quarters, he confronts them. Okay, so they established that in TNG and Voyager, says Gorilla. What is that? Oh, the first officer handles things. And Sci-Fi says Bones played both roles and had medical and psychology degrees. Yes. You came through fine from the start, Jill, says Dalek, so that's good to hear. There are 2 things about this episode that stuck out to me, says Pop Culture Republic, but I don't know if anyone has already touched on them. Came in a bit late here. Raymond says, beware the corporation. Yeah, corporation writing.
Right. Well, if you have any topics, if you're not sure we brought them up, please mention them in the chat, or anybody at any time can join us on the panel.
Yes.
So if you have any questions or thoughts, please include them.
Hungry Boy says, regardless of not sharing the password, Kelly really crossed serious boundaries with the Kimbok Gambit. She's not a member of Topa's family.
100% accurate and correct.
Yeah, I agree. The reason she did that is because she was afraid for Topa's life, but I agree. And she even admits throughout the episode that she crossed the line. So, although Kelly is more likable character now in this, she sees a boundary, she crosses it.
She doesn't care.
Hungry Boy. Dalek says that's what most of this episode was, and part of why it was so boring. Lots of sitting around and talking. Grilla says, so it's in his contract.
Referring to Gordon.
Oh, right. It's in his contract to have a scene because it's Gordon and he refuses to grow up.
Kimbok. Yeah, it looks like a chocolate cake with a bubble on it.
I want to make Kimbok. Yeah, I mean, if there's anything positive in the episode, is there's some cake. Everybody likes cake. This is Hungry Boy says this is Days of Our Lives in General Hospital in Space.
I wish. Oh my God, they don't delve on these horrible topics. I wish it was just those.
Resolute Germ says they're trying to tie up loose ends in case there's no season 4. Another reason the short season doesn't work. Oh, okay. Oh, he was just joking. He got the notification late. Okay. So he confronts them, and there's this more of this confrontation here.
I may appear to be male, but what is inside me still exists.
So at least the episode reiterates that he wants to revert to what he was before he was altered. Clyden denies the truth. Borden admits it and apologizes, saying,
We love you. For everything that you are and were.
and then Clyden confronts Kelly about interfering with his parenting.
See, and he should have reported her to the union before he spoke to her. Or I wouldn't have spoken to her at all, actually. He should have reported her. And she should be behind bars at this point, but oh well.
Yeah,
go
had he
ahead.
done that, then they really would have brought all of Mockless into
and their scheming and conniving behind his back would have failed, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, but instead he blows up in front of Kelly. Not knowing Bortus gave the password.
And see, this is where I believe your theory, that's the only way I can swallow this, is your theory it's an alternate timeline, because this is where Kelly's now officially a bad guy, and she's despicable and loathsome. And I guess they've framed Mocklins as being weak, because she takes over and tackles, physically controls Clyden pretty easily. So I guess that means Bortus is weak as well, right? Maybe their whole race?
Well, not the whole race, but just Clyden doesn't fight, and Kelly is trained.
But that doesn't mean Clyden doesn't have any strength at all.
Yeah, but
I guess the question would be, how about, let me ask you this, Jill. And I hate doing this, and I'm so sorry. I have to apologize ahead of time. Put yourself in Clyden's shoes. If it was you and you knew people were trying to judge the fate of your child without you being there, and they're already telling you have no choice, you already made our decision. Well, how would you feel walking in there? Would you walk in there with without any planning or unexpected? I mean, because I've been around children all my life, and this is what got me in trouble in the chat rooms, is because I don't think Clyden well in this episode. I thought everybody gained up against him.
Yeah, so if you look at this like fiction, like the fiction of we're just reversing a wrong that was done to Topa to begin with, that's one way to look at it. But
yeah, we're all fine with that, right?
Right, everybody's fine with that. But if you look at it through the allegory that they're trying to portray as if this were anybody who wanted to change, then it makes sense for a parent to have some resistance there, to be afraid for their child.
I would fight to the death if it was my child.
Yeah, and it becomes a very different conversation when you take it from that fairy tale to reality.
Right. It's too bad they had to even cover this.
Yeah, exactly. I agree. And that's why I'm trying to just focus on the fairy tale, because the reality is ugly. Yeah.
Remind everybody, I guess apparently we're watching the Orville. Laugh, everybody laugh.
Right. And it brings up here about a girl. She says,
"You wrecked that kid the second you walked into that courtroom."
So
I love her attitude.
That's why it's okay to be mad at Clyden, because he messed her up first.
And that's so good. She's so good at de-escalating the situation, huh? All that training just really goes into. I don't know.
And
you didn't get the clip of her calling him a fathead and tell him off about his religion, right?
Right. No, I didn't.
Okay.
But yeah, thank you for mentioning that.
Or how about the clip where she told the child that she hates him? Did you get that clip?
Oh no, I didn't get that either, but you're right. She does say, I hate him.
That's what I'm telling you. She should, well, it doesn't matter, it's my opinion. Yeah, I think she's way overboard. And she's decided she's going to take everything in her own hands, regardless of what the parents think. I think she would do this even if Bortus was against it.
This is why I mentioned what I mentioned earlier. Everybody is upset about him, about his traditions, but nobody except Bortus knows Clyden's true origins, which I felt like should have been revealed in this episode and explored to give this episode a bit more weight.
Right. Clyden could have mentioned this to her, but I guess he doesn't because it's against his.
Yeah, right.
Because it's something they don't talk about.
He buries it. He buries it. And
he could have mentioned that. He could have said that. He could have said, "Look, I usually do not talk about this, but just to let you know, I used to be this, and here's how I dealt with it. You need to listen to another side, something." But by this point, the writers had already written him into a shit can, and they were going to just his fate was already written. So what's the point, right?
Yeah, not doing so just leaves.
Sorry, I don't like swearing.
You're right. They're leaving Clyden's character stagnant, and he is just the villain.
Yeah, he's the punching bag for this episode. For he represents everything they hate, which is religion, traditional values, all that. Yeah.
And here is the side that everybody agrees with, because we know what we saw in About a Girl, that she was born a girl, and
Underneath that manufactured exterior, Topa is still female.
and then they write Clyden as a complete idiot because he tries to attack Kelly, but of course, being trained in combat, she overtakes him pretty easily with the leverage. She uses like herself as a lever to take him down, and it just leaves the episode two-dimensional to ignore Clyden's unresolved mental illness. I mean, that's basically what it is. But really, I'm like Dalek. I'm bored by this entire episode. It really could have used a better sci-fi B story than just exploring the finding from some catacomb. I mean, maybe we could have learned a little more about that culture that they were talking about. I don't know. Maybe
that wasn't their intention, unfortunately.
Some kind of conflict could have happened with that, but we didn't get that. I mean, just a little kind of relief, but we didn't get it. So there's that. And
I love that scene. I'll just say I'm glad Clyde gave up so easily without putting up a fight.
Yeah.
That's so realistic.
And this is a scene where we actually learn that it was Bortus who gave the password, and Kelly apologizes for her role in stepping out of her boundaries to tell Topa the truth, because she was afraid Topa might hurt himself. Bortus is in tears because he doesn't know how to help Topa.
Crocodile tears.
And Dr. Finn's evaluation is that Topa isn't in any danger of self-deletion any longer, and that Topa will guide the next steps.
Yeah, that should have been the end of the episode, right?
Mm-hmm. And so Resolute Germ says they did mention the Kimbok was part was illegal. She would have likely faced court-martial if Bortus pressed charges.
For many things she did in here, actually, not just that.
And so should he for attacking a Union officer, says Sci-Fi.
If a court heard in a court of law the reason why he was attacking her, I'm sure they would side with him.
Mm-hmm. Hungry Boy says, Clyden is insufferable, but still 150 pounds heftier than Kelly. I'm not buying the hold Clyden against the wall bit. Hello, Ruby Rose.
Thank you, Hungry. Like he said it. Hungry said it, not me, people. Thank you.
Sci-Fi says, a clam head will always prevail over emotion in a fight.
A clam head.
Oh, a calm head. Sorry.
That's okay. We needed it.
Okay. And Hakame says, yeah, I agree. Pop, that part made him look so weak.
Oh, well.
And she's a soldier, not law enforcement. And Gorilla says, no plan, blind rage.
Well, but even with blind rage, it just seemed like they would look around. The first thing, they would look around for a weapon. I mean, if they really didn't care, I mean, he would have went in there with like a blaster or a phaser, whatever they call it, or at least a knife. I mean, this ship has to have knives on it, right? A rock, something to bunker with. I mean, the show is so pacifist, the way they write it. I mean, it just doesn't make any sense. But anyway, go ahead.
Yeah, you forget you're on a starship.
Well, it doesn't matter. It's a starship. We're on the Orville.
Mm-hmm.
If this was Star Trek, they would have gotten their hands on a phaser or a knife or something.
Mm-hmm. You're right. Hungry Boy says, Clyden said he wished... oh, right. Yeah, we're not there yet, but we'll get there.
Yes.
Yeah. She'd never been born. Yeah, he does say that. That's the absolute worst thing. That's the last villainous thing he does before he leaves the show forever. But we'll get there. Clyden has been written as bad character for some time. It's also why their marriage is strained, Bortus and Clyden. Yes, you're correct.
I agree. Actually, that's why I've even thought from the beginning their relationship didn't make sense because even from the beginning I thought, why are they even together? They don't get along. I don't understand it. So even from the beginning, it didn't make sense. But anyway, there's no chemistry is the way I would put it. No chemistry. All right, go ahead.
Except when they had cigarettes.
Yeah, I guess that's the one thing that brought them together was menthol.
Hungry Boy says, the script swerved across 3 lanes. Regardless of what was surgically done, Topa is still female. It's technically turfing, yet the script tries to appease Twitter stance on gender. Incongruent.
So true.
Sci-Fi says, it was boring in a sci-fi sense, but had a ton of character development. And I thought by the end, Bortus was going to be a single parent. And Dalek says, yes, Jill, I was hoping for a fun space adventure, but instead I got this. Pop Culture Republic says, another thing I questioned about this episode was if it was an anti-trans episode or not. Topa was altered at child. Hello? Are we live?
Hello.
Hello? Okay, sorry, my Ethernet cable slipped out. Where did I cut off? Did I read this?
I thought mine cut out, so I was unplugging. I have.
Oh, okay. Well, pretend I read that one. Resolute Germ says, when we got a fun space adventure this season, that ship has sailed. When have we gotten a fun space adventure this season, Dalek? That ship has sailed long ago. I'm hoping this episode, I don't know how much hope I have left. Hakame says, if this is the future of the Orville, I wouldn't want a season 4 unless it's like the first 2 seasons. Yeah, agreed. I love seasons 1 and 2. Seasons 1 and 2 is the whole reason I started putting content on my channel.
Yeah, same here.
I'm using clam heads from
That'll teach you, Jill.
Sci-Fi says my good deed is done for the day, making someone laugh. Well, it was my misreading.
We needed the levity, though.
Yep, clam heads is sticking, says Pop Culture Republic. Weapons probably locked up.
Right, that's why I said I'd be grabbing a knife or something, a chair, anything. Right.
Resolute Germ says more like the first 2 seasons. That's why I want it on Peacock. With a stricter episode format and 26 episode season, it'd never get consistency on Hulu. And yes, it did freeze. I lost my Wi-Fi for a minute. Oh, I cut out halfway through your post. Sorry about that. Seasons 1 and 2 are fun. This is a bit heavy for the Orville.
I agree. Obviously out of place. Would be my assertion.
And Hakame says, I just don't care about the storyline. I didn't like it in season 2 either.
Yeah, I'm not going to argue that.
I actually thought it was well done in season 2, but...
Well, I was just hoping that was the end of it. They keep going over some of these tropes over and over and over. They're going to beat us over the head, right?
Yeah. And here Topa wants to see other Mocklin females, so Kelly shows Topa the Mocklin named Havina from the About a Girl trial.
And if I can mention the technical details, this is not okay, everybody. They took the original footage from that episode, and then with special effects, they interspersed the new Kelly and the Topa character in this. So it's not like they got all the actors back and we hired them. You can even see Alara back there. So it's nice to see Alara again. But this is not right. This is not new footage. It was old footage from that previous episode, and they just used special effects similar to Back to the Future to add the new characters in. All right, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, that is pretty cool, though. I mean, the technicality of it.
It looked good. It looked good, right?
And we got to see, a first season episode for a second, which is, you can tell the much more lighthearted nature of it.
They taught me to love the person I was.
Is more positive slant. And so this is the point where Topa realizes that he wants to be restored to the way he was born. And so this is revealed to Dr. Finn, and we have a big meaning of the episode concerning Topa's desire to return back to her original gender. And this is the part of the episode where everyone should be clear that this has no bearing on current day realities of the issue for this simple fact. This simple fact right here that I have. Here. Where is it?
She wants her physical body to represent its origins.
And obviously that's possible.
It is possible, yes, and very simple.
The fact that in the Orville future, the change from male to female is so incredibly simple tears it away from having any relevance to reality. So it should be seen only as the fantasy fairy tale that it is. In reality, of course, this type of procedure would not be simple. It requires many treatments, surgeries, therapy, and this is just for adults. For children, it is far more dangerous, and we don't even know the terrible consequences that occurs in regard to the healthy growth and development of them. So I do appreciate that Dr. Finn says for children,
under normal circumstances, I couldn't do what's being asked until the child reached adulthood. But to be blunt, Topa's history makes it all awash.
That's me. I don't hear any audio.
Do you hear anything?
I didn't hear anything.
Did you hear anything on the first one?
No, I didn't. Panel.
She wants her physical body to represent its origins.
And obviously that's possible.
It is possible.
Let
yes,
us know on the panel
and
if you guys hear this.
Did you hear it?
Did you guys? I didn't hear. Did you? People on the chat, please let us know if you heard that.
Yeah.
It could be me.
Do you hear me?
I hear you, Jill. I just didn't hear the clip. But it could be me. I mean, in the chat, let us know. Could you hear those clips?
Yeah. Hearing the audio. Videos are playing fine.
Yeah, they can hear them.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay, so under normal circumstances, she says that she wouldn't have done this.
Interesting.
So this is the one line that says normally she wouldn't do this with children, and so that is the way Seth gets out of it. This real life circumstance that I'm alluding to as showing that this episode should not be seen as reality.
Okay, I think my StreamYard is acting odd. I mean, the fact that I can hear you and not the clip, it's like okay. Whatever, right?
Yeah, I guess. Sorry.
Oh, don't apologize. It's fine. I know what they're saying, so it's okay.
Okay, so Clyden even says that Topa is too young to decide, but Claire says that Topa is different because
there's a very reasonable argument that we'd simply be restoring what was taken from her.
So she gives that argument that we'd be restoring what was taken from her. And that is why this episode is a fairy tale fantasy that should not be seen as anything related to reality, and any attempt to do so is a mistake that could be dangerous. Another reason it can't be seen as reality is because if you do, then in our reality, this would be a one-way change and not a restoration as it is in this, because the way that they depict Clyden as the villain is basically saying that if you're against this type of surgery, then you're wrong and evil. And
well, it's not just a family surgery, but it's religion and your culture.
Yeah. So you have to see this episode as a fairy tale world where this type of operation has no negative consequences whatsoever. And yeah, if you can just turn on a switch off and on like that, then why would anybody have any controversy about it if there were no negative consequences? And that's all I'm going to say on that. I don't want to talk about that anymore.
Okay.
I said it once before at the beginning of the stream and once more now. If anyone is having any of these sorts of troubles in real life, please don't get your advice from me, from a television show, YouTube, or social media. Seek actual physicians and psychologists. and just make sure to steer clear from activists. And meanwhile, the union has decided. All right, here's the next thing. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay, just checking. I'm gonna move on. Meanwhile, the union has decided that Topa may not have the procedure because it could cause the Mocklins to break from the union. Okay. Okay, so have we reached the part where Bortus was crying yet? I rolled my eyes at that. Yeah, I said he was crying. I kind of go through these scenes fast because that's what I tend to do on the drama episodes because I'm reviewing the Orville to watch sci-fi, and we didn't get much of that. So
yeah, that was the point where I said crocodile tears. If you go back.
And this is pure opera. We even had a Mocklin.
Oprah.
Well, I was saying Oprah before opera. Oprah. We even had a Mocklin Maya Angelou character. And the amount of tears the writers must have heard crying in the hallways. Refrain.
Yep.
Sci-Fi says, they're using a trope, however. It's nice to see a resolution to the Topa storyline. Just wondering if we see the female Mocklins again because of this episode. That's the kind of episode I was actually hoping for.
Well,
I was actually hoping for...
if you remember at the end of season 2, I predicted that would be brought up in season 3, is that the women come back and prove that they're strong. And now we see how. Because apparently this female Topa, how much you want to bet, is going to go back to that planet full of women and unite with them. And they're going to enter the war with the Kalon and the... Oh, I don't care anymore.
Okay.
The question is, which one's the secret to everything? Is it going to be Ed's daughter or Bortus's daughter? I guess is the question, right?
Both of them. They're using a trope, however. It's nice to see a resolution. Okay, so yeah, we will. We probably will. We probably will see them again. Pop Culture Republic says, the previous episode was a lighter take on the subject matter, but it was only a matter of time before they would revisit it. And Resolute Germ says, I would doubt it, Sci-Fi Nation, simply because there is so little time left. Oh, Resolute Germ says, no, we're not going to see any kind of resolution with that. And that's possible, too. Normally, Seth says he doesn't like to end on cliffhangers, but the last episode is entitled Future Unknown. So we'll see. And the audio is fine. Audio.
Well, if the last episode is called if the last episode is called Future Unknown, it'll be okay if they end it with him sailing into space. Like, okay, we're ready for another day. Hopefully, it won't end it on. Well, it looks like the Orville's gonna be blown up any second, right?
Right. Yeah, definitely.
That would be disappointing.
I'd rather second star to the right and straight on to a morning.
Yeah, that'd be a little bit better, right? You don't want to sit there on the, like the episode with Picard where Riker says fire, because he sees Picard as Peter's a Borg. And can you imagine if Star Trek would have been canceled? I mean, we never would have seen the resolution of that.
Yeah. Yeah, best of both worlds. Yeah, right. You had to wait for
that was going to tip my tongue, but I didn't want to say the wrong name of the episode.
You had to wait for the next season to get...
Right. Imagine if it had been canceled and they said, sorry, there's no next season of Next Generation, right?
Oh my God. Well, talking about good episodes. You want to review Star Trek next?
I think we're going to DS9 on Klobbies, or at least they are.
Right.
I'll try to watch along with them.
But we could do TOS if you want. I don't know. I
would love to do TOS. Everybody else seems to have already covered it. If you wanted to, any day I would. It was so lighter. Yeah, the topics are so much lighter and more fun to talk about.
Right. And so, Hungry Boy says, anybody else get to the scene with the representative from the Admiralty and think, thank God, there's one sane person in the room.
Not for long.
Hungry for Oprah to leave the Orville. Yep, I kind of remember that scene.
Yeah, this one.
Um, I was begging the episode to end at this point, says Dalek, and Sci-Fi
Right.
says I'll be very disappointed if we get an Enterprise type ending. Yeah,
Right.
me too. That would be
This
awesome.
is the only scene in the whole episode that made any sense. It's basically she's telling them not only is it illegal, but it could cause a war. So you absolutely do not interfere with that family for moral and legal reasons, right?
Right. That's exactly what happens here.
Yeah, but she spins on a dime on that one. Anyway, go ahead.
She does. They're wrapping up here at the tomb. They've cleared all the booby traps, hopefully not by throwing Isaac at all of them, and made a map. And Claire has an idea to sacrifice her career to perform the procedure on Topa. And for a third time, Isaac comes to the rescue, offering to perform the procedure instead.
Rescue?
Well, rescue of the plot to get to where we need to go.
But in my head canon, I guess they call it, or my belief, this is where the crew is turned full evil, and they're doing everything they're not supposed to do. And I was shocked when Isaac did this. So I'm already overwhelmed by the way the crew is acting, and they're colluding against Clyden. It's not right. It's not morally or legally right, but I don't know. Like I said, I know that's not a popular opinion.
Yeah. I mean, it's something we want to happen, but it's not happening in the right way. Offering to perform it, and since he's not a member of the union, but he is an officer. He is a science officer, but I guess since he never went through Union Point, he's not.
Right. So what they're discussing is they know what they're doing is illegal, so they're trying to figure out a way to get around it. So I don't know how that paints them in a positive light, but okay, go ahead.
And in order for that to work, they have to make sure no one witnesses or interferes with Isaac as he's working on Topa. So they organize a concert with a performance by Bortus.
Oh, that's right. This is the music while the people are running through the corridors like it was a comedy. Now I remember. Remember when they announced it? They actually showed scenes of people running through the hallway with delightful music playing in the background. You remember that?
Yeah, I remember that.
I was thinking, this is out of place. What is this? Because it was, I don't know. Anyway, go ahead.
In order to pretend that none of the crew know anything about what Isaac is doing with Topa, Bortus sings Nature Boy by Nat King Cole. He does it very beautifully because our magical fairy tale needs a magical song. We get lots of great looking shots of the ship being empty of any personnel, as ridiculous as it is for it to be empty. Right now would be a perfect time for the Krill or Kalon to attack and destroy the Orville almost instantly.
I totally agree, yes. And literally with their pants down, of all things, what are they doing?
And apparently the ship can run on autopilot for an indeterminate amount of time.
Can you go back to that last slide?
Sure.
So that's where they store the rifles?
Yeah, so this is the weapon.
That's the armory?
Locker, yeah.
The armory? Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Yeah, so that's where Clyden would have gone for his weapon.
Well, I would have. If it would have been me, I would have found a way to get in there. I mean, if the little kids on this ship can hack everything, why can't the parents have some half brain, right?
Mm-hmm. So, I understand. Isaac makes his best attempt at bedside manner when Clyden interrupts. He's the villain again. He's the villain again here.
Of course.
Mm-hmm.
He will be a
this really broke my heart when I saw Isaac do this to him. This is where I have to say I no longer like Isaac anymore. And to me, Isaac was beloved. He was my favorite character on the show. But as soon as he grabbed Clyden's arm and did this, no more.
Yeah,
no more
I was surprised.
For me.
I was surprised Topa didn't cancel the thing because of what he saw there.
Well, no, because the script writers were already in. It's like a train; you can't stop it. And but like I said, at this point, I'm now the crew are bad guys. The whole conspiracy, they all know what they're doing is illegal, even after being told by the union. They're all like, I hope you're right about the alternative timeline, because in my opinion, they're all bad guys now. And Isaac was my last hope for the only good. He reminds me like a puppy or a dog. That he's mostly good unless somebody turns him bad. But this was my first episode where it's like, oh, Isaac, he's just like the rest of them.
Yeah,
Orville.
he says.
Sorry, go
I
ahead.
surmise your capacity to reason has been compromised by your cultural indoctrination.
Yeah. And I see what you're saying, but
Oh well.
Then Isaac performs the magical procedure, and Topa is happy.
Magic is the word, everybody.
Well, that's what it is. I mean, they don't describe the science of it, but not
No,
that I
but
want the
apparently-
science of it to be
No,
described
right,
or
but
anything.
but apparently
I
they can do it
don't.
within a matter of a couple minutes, and
But
the person is healed completely.
but
is what I was saying.
that is the thing. It is magic. It's not realistic. The Admiral pretends to dress down Captain Mercer and Commander Grayson for their apparent incompetence officially, but unofficially seems to approve. Then the Mocklins also pretend as if they're mad about it, but despite all the logic, they're only angry at the Kalon because Isaac performed the procedure.
How convenient, yeah.
I mean, and
What
of
are the
course,
odds of all that falling into place where they got away with it so easily? All those crimes they committed. How nice, huh?
and of course, I am calling the first procedure on Topa from About a Girl magic too, because nobody knows about how that was done either. So I am being equal on both cases. But
yes, you are.
This ends up all of the potential conflicts at the end here just end up wrapped up without any consequences for anybody.
And then except for Clyden.
Oh, except for Clyden, right?
Yeah.
Except for Clyden. So Sci-Fi said, I noticed this was like a 90-minute episode just about. Found it was rather odd. I did like Isaac figuring out a workaround, but it was for what qualifies as a conspiracy by law.
Definitely, positively.
Resolute Germ says, no, technically he's equipment, not an officer. Hey, have you not seen Measure of a Man? Pop Culture Republic says, the musical distraction part of the episode. Yep.
Yes.
So the Orville must be able to run completely automated if everyone was in the shuttle bay. Yes, also wherever the shuttles.
Apparently, right.
And Dalek says the rest of this episode just dragged and dragged and dragged. Yes, that's why I'm trying to get through it. Dalek, I agree. And Christian Fandom Geek says, hello there. What's up, peeps?
Christian Fandom Geek, long time no see. Resub to my channel. It used to be subbed, and then my channel got deleted. I had to kind of rebuild it again and build it back my fan base, my subs. And I think Christian Fandom Geek was a sub from the original days. So if you were, I'm inviting you to resub again. If you weren't, well, I'm inviting you to sub. So,
yes,
sorry.
Please.
Thank you, Jill. Go ahead.
Yes, please subscribe to Pop Culture Curator if you've been unsubbed from long ago when he had to remake his channel.
Yeah, Christian Fandom Geek and I were talking about a religious show that was being produced independently by the churches. Go ahead. Next.
So, Pop Culture says it's a swipe at cultural beliefs.
Yes. Among other
says,
things,
hey,
yes.
Christian. And Tiger Stripe says any sufficiently advanced technology is indistinguishable from magic. Yes, you're right. You're right, Tiger Stripes. That's correct. But it's portrayed more as fantasy than sci-fi here.
Well, they're not going to show
no, and not that
surgery,
I want
right?
to see. Not that I want to see any of that.
But we don't. But they're not going to show surgery, right? So they're going to keep it.
They got off easy here, but all I'm trying to say is that it's just not as easy in real life.
Yes.
They got off easy here, but they are in a time of war. Right.
Right.
That's true. Such a Clyden?
Such a Clyden.
I probably meant such as Clyden, but I don't know what. I don't know.
Poor Clyden.
But I'm glad I made you laugh. A Hungry Boy says, here comes the horror. How dare the writers make Clyden say this? Yeah, the absolute worst thing any parent could say to their kids is what they make him say.
Which they wouldn't.
I know. Picard also
Yeah.
said that in Who Watches the Watchers in TNG. All right. I was thinking that Clark quote earlier. Magic. Oh, hello, Sort of Poopus Cuber.
Hello there.
Really great to see you. Jill, I'm sorry I had to come in so late on your Orville breakdown. Oh, well, thanks for coming by, Tiger Stripes.
Yeah, better late than never. Oh, you're always welcome to come and rewatch the rewatch later if you want to get caught up.
Exactly. And everybody's got to say
by the way, everybody, if you're
to the
enjoying
bear.
the stream, I know this is a very squirm-inducing stream, but if you like it, please click the like and sub to Jill's channel and the alert button. We will hopefully be finishing this season, unless depending on if I don't get attacked more. I hope not. I'll put my shields up and do the best I can. How about that, huh?
Yeah. Yeah, no, you're not saying that you don't want Topa to be the way she was born. You're saying if your child were going through a singular transition of that kind of nature, it's something that you would fight, and that makes sense.
You wouldn't want to be just dismissed, right?
Right.
And the way they treated
parents should
character.
have a voice.
Yeah, and the way they treated Clyde's character, I thought wasn't right.
Yeah.
Because I know I may be the only one here, but I actually like the character. I know, like I said, I realized from the beginning those two never had chemistry, but I thought Clyde was kind of funny. I know he was set in his ways, which was fine because it made sense for the character. But it's the way they discarded everything about the whole Moclan culture, and they demonized their entire culture. And I don't know. Anyway, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, you're right. And here is hopefully the last time we have to see Clyden being a full villain here. But
it's the last time we're going to see Clyden.
Yeah, unless there are some theories on Twitter that say he's going to team up with Talea, but unless that happens, this is the last time we see Clyden. And
that's a far stretch. I really doubt it. Right.
I know, right? And as if he didn't do it enough when he said Topa would be a monstrosity, he says the one thing that no parent should ever say to their child, and there's no way to go back from.
I wish you were never born.
And so any sort of sympathy anyone ever had for Clyden would fully evaporate over the course of the episode.
The writers made sure of it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right. The writers wrote every possible bad cliche to do this to his character, right? So they're painting him into the light he'd never really liked Topa in the first place. And it's just too much. I don't know. It's obvious which side the writers are on, and it's sad that they're always picking a side and demonizing the other, I guess. It doesn't matter what their context within the episode is, what the plot is of the week. But they've chosen one side and they're always demonizing the other, and it's sad. They should be out having fun, exploring space, exploring the universe.
Instead, there's these heavy allegories.
That's what we're being preached to every single episode. Like I said, every episode's a PSA now.
There's the character assassination for Clyden. He's done. Well, maybe not the best partner. At this point, no one cares about that because everyone hates Clyden. Bortus is, of course, the perfect father.
Listen very closely to me. You are perfect.
Which, of course, is what Topa needed to hear after being told that she shouldn't exist. So, Isaac says that Isaac tries to say in this next scene that he reverted Topa to her original form to ingratiate himself to the crew. But it's pretty obvious that it was probably more likely he did it to make sure Claire didn't have to leave the ship. We know this is a major possibility because all the way back in A Happy Refrain, we learn that Isaac's programming has been affected by his relationship with the Finn family, and that he performs less efficiently without Claire. He needs her, and in that way, that is the android type of love that he has for her. That was further reinforced when he went against his own kind when Ty was in danger during Identity. And the episode ends with Topa being allowed to play captain and call for Quantum Drive to be engaged to the tune of You'll Never Walk Alone by Rodgers and Hammerstein. And so there you go, an episode of the Orville the magical future where transitioning is as easy as simple as getting rid of a mole. And if it really were that easy, there would be less controversy around it than there is today. Anyway, the biggest problem for me is that if all of this happened at such a snail's pace, that all of this happened at such a snail's pace, and that I was so bored through most of it. Even if that's something that I've always wanted for Topa to be able to do, to be the person she was born as I was just bored. It dragged and dragged, and would have been much more tightly written a story if it could have been 30, 45 minutes.
Maybe if it would have been the B plot, huh?
Yeah. And if this had some kind of B story, aside from the tame and uneventful archaeology trip.
So I have to ask a question. So if the change in the gender of somebody is so quick and easy in this show, in their history, you could do it every day, right? Depending on what mood you're in. Well, I'm going to go out Friday night. I want to be a male, and Saturday night I want to be a female, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's very cosmological.
Yes,
it
is.
Just...
Okay. Yeah, trivialized. Yes, it is. Mm-hmm. That's the whole point.
It was trivialized. I agree. And I'm not saying I don't want that technology to exist one day, but it just doesn't right now.
Or it's a convenience. So you don't like the color of your shoes, just get a different color.
So maybe when maybe one day will exist, and we'll have a very different conversation then. But Absolutely. As it is now, we cannot relate this to reality. It's
nope.
Just not. So, Clyden always reminded me of Red from that 70s show, just less funny. All right, I'm gonna.
I wouldn't know. I haven't seen the 70s show.
He would often say, "I'm gonna stick my foot up your butt," or say ass. But
I lived in the 70s, but I didn't see the show. Right.
Mm-hmm. Well, you lived it. You didn't need to watch the show.
That's probably why I didn't watch it.
That 70s show was a kid. It was for 90s kids to watch to pretend they get to know about the 70s.
What's funny is right. The era I was in the 70s watching Happy Days, which was about the 60s. So yeah, it all makes sense, right?
There you go. Is it safe, Snuffles? Dalek says, I was so done with this episode at this point that I couldn't even cheer that Clyden was finally gone.
Yeah, not even a goodbye.
Bad parent cliche. And Raymond Feliciano says, I get the tooth removed tomorrow. Yay.
Good luck.
Yay. Good luck. I hope everything goes well and everything is this much fun.
Yeah, say hello to the Tooth Fairy for me and ask her why she stopped showing up when I was 5. No, just kidding.
Yeah. I know Raymond's been suffering for a while, so hopefully by tomorrow he'll feel much better and feel like this. So
hope you get better, sir.
Yes, please feel better. Good parent, bad parent. And Resolute Germ says, never tell a kid they are perfect. It will give them a complex.
Tell me about it. That's the problem these days.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Sci-Fi Nation says, Borders should have added just the way you are. Now Topa might get a complex about being perfect.
Yeah, but these days, I know at least where I live, every child, they call all their kids perfect. Oh, you're wonderful. You're special,
Mm-hmm.
I hear it every day.
Yeah, no, I've read the parenting book, so I know not to do that. It's like instead of saying good job, you say, oh, you must have studied harder. You really worked hard to get that done. That's great. There are ways to affirm what your kids are doing in a more positive way that does.
Right, that's why we have people when they grow up.
Them.
Right, that's why we have all these people when they grow up. They're constantly seeking attention because they're so used to that when they're kids. And then when they grow up and there's not somebody constantly around fawning over them and giving them attention, they're not used to it.
Mm-hmm.
Hence Twitter.
Right. And he says it was unbelievable cringe.
Which part?
The whole thing, right?
Yeah.
Tiger Stripe says this episode didn't really have any subplots, did it? No.
Yeah, the pyramid.
There was a pyramid. It was there. They analyzed. some
it was
culture.
a small subplot, but I would classify it as a subplot because it was completely separate from the main plot. But
Yeah.
I'm not an expert.
It definitely it really didn't even have its own plot.
In fact, it could have been part of any episode, and we wouldn't know the difference, right? Because it was so disconnected from the rest of the episode.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Pop culture says Isaac saying that he didn't do it for Topa but for himself really came across as cold to me. He only wanted to change the crew's opinion of him, unless I'm reading the scene differently.
No, you read it correctly. Now he's vain.
Yeah, that's what he says, but I don't really believe it. But
well,
I believe he did it for Claire. Gordon was the side story.
The bites?
His eating that tart that made him blow up. A hungry boy says, "Dear God, you'll never walk alone. Could we get a bigger musical culture cliche?"
Thank you. My God, I didn't want to be the one to say it. Thank you. I mean, talking about eyes rolling back, that whole scene, right?
Mm-hmm. Great news about your tooth, Raymond, says Tiger Stripes. Dalek451, stop making me agree with you so much, says Hungry Boy.
Hey, as long as you can agree on something, that's great.
Hungry for Oprah to leave the Orville. Yeah. Was that Chief O'Brien?
That animated scene, was that?
Yes, that was Chief O'Brien.
What was that from?
It's from a comic. It's from an online comics called Chief O'Brien at Work, and it's kind of a nihilistic comic. It's kind of like, oh, here I am, just stuck in. Everybody else is having this grand adventure, but Chief O'Brien is just stuck in the transporter room.
Console.
And he's just waiting the whole time for people to want to be transported, and then they're just like, it's okay, I'll let the computer do it. It's kind of it's funny, but you don't want to read too many because it can also get depressing at the same time.
Is it him? The particular shows like on TNG or Deep Space Nine or whatever? Or
well, it's just on TNG before he grows into his own, before DS9. Right, because in DS9
uniform, yeah.
In DS9 becomes a 3-dimensional character. But in TNG he's just a side character.
Transporter operator, yes.
Here's your participation trophy, says Snarkloopus. Participation trophies aren't helping either. Want a trophy? Then win, says Sci-Fi Nation. Tiger Stripes says, Isaac just reaffirms whatever Claire suggests to him. It's not a healthy relationship, in my opinion.
No.
Resolute Germ, Isaac was the real winner of the episode. Yeah, I agree. Dalek says, from the moment Topa got off that bed to the moment she said engage quantum drive, that was so unrealistic and stupid, says Dalek.
I won't argue that. Mm-hmm.
That's
why we said magic, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes. O'Brien must suffer, says Snorpoopus. Tiger Stripes. That Chief O'Brien comic sounds great. Yeah, it really is. I had a lot of fun with it on my first Friday show. Every Friday I have a show where I just talk about fun stuff and random stuff. Sometimes good sci-fi, sometimes bad. And also other stuff. And science sometimes too. And Sci-Fi Nation says, just like it was on TNG with Wesley Dalek. Yeah, I had strong Wesley vibes in there too.
Same here, yeah.
So I really hope this week's episode is more exciting and fun. And even if you do like this episode, it was drama, 100%. And for me, it wasn't all that much fun. So, Pop Culture, do you have any closing thoughts for us?
I hope nobody's upset with what you hear is total. The commentary is. I hope it's not. I don't want it to be taken personally by anybody. It's just an opinion, is all. I try to offer a different opinion than what Jill has, so that it makes it a little more interesting, rather than listening to a sound chamber echoing.
Right.
And
And it is good that we have different opinions.
yeah,
but,
if it was up to me, we wouldn't be talking politics at all. We would be talking
but
about fun
honestly,
adventures. You know,
with the last couple episodes, our opinions have gotten closer closer than ever. So
but it's just I
they're
would
still
not.
different.
Yeah, I'd rather be talking about fun space adventures and what action we saw
Mhm.
this week, or things like that.
Right,
It's too
exactly.
bad they've decided to turn this into a political platform.
Well, maybe it's not being written for sci-fi fans anymore.
It isn't, and that's very clear. That's what's sad. I mean, unless it takes a 180 all of a sudden, it's just not very likely.
And Chris Persia says hello. And
Hail, Chris Persia.
hello. Thank you for being here, Chris Persia. Hungry Boy says, by the way, I would have loved for Admiral Howland to have been on the bridge when Charlie Chuckles was mouthing off and defying direct orders from Mercer.
Probably would have given her a pat on the back.
Right? She seems like she'd be a good captain.
Well, just like to see here with the Admiral at the end of this episode, when she after what she had told them, and to find out they went through it anyway, and she let him off the hook and thanked him for it. It's like,
point of personal short person privilege here. I actually think it would be really humorous, to have if she weren't an admiral, she were captain. It would be really fun to have someone actually take charge like she is, and do and have her own ship and actually see what someone looks like when they're actually doing their duty.
Absolutely, I would love to see that compared to this. Yes.
Mm-hmm. But always having to look up because she's kind of short.
Size isn't everything.
Yeah, right, exactly. And that would be the fun part of it too. By the way, yeah, I would like
that. If anybody is not sure what I'm talking about, just look up Bruce Lee.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's why I say that I'm short, because I know that perspective. I just arrived. What did I miss? A whole drama episode about the Orville.
Oh, you missed a wonderful stream. We recommend you definitely highlight the rewatch or watch the rewatch.
Yes, please do rewatch it.
Yeah, if you missed this, anybody, if you came in late, we recommend if you can watch from the beginning. We also, by the way, recommend the other streams from the past and future.
Yes, we reviewed all of the episodes, seasons 1 and 2, all of the really wonderful season 1 and 2 episodes. Snortopoopus Cuber says, I shall pray to the cosmic snort that the Orville rewards the fans with better episodes and that Seth gets off his soapbox.
Is it Seth? That's the question. That's why I brought up last week, is we noticed it's like, as soon as Disney bought them and took over, because Disney has they own Fox and they have a controlling stake in Hulu. I see a lot of Disney influence, because think about the plots and everything we're seeing is mirroring what's going on in the Star Wars and Marvel universe. So it's the same politics. It's almost like the same writers. I don't think it's a coincidence, and it's all coming from the same company. Keep that in mind. Too many coincidences, right? If this was a private investigator or a cop, they would say that's too many coincidences. But that's an opinion.
Mm-hmm. It's possible. Resolute Germ says, we've got plenty of drama before in Trek. That's not the problem. If they had a full season, this episode would be overlooked as no big deal.
Right, with more than 10 episodes.
And Snorpoop says, hello to Chris Persia. And Sci-Fi says, the real takeaway for me is, as a sci fantasy, it's a great show. A showing of current social problems, just like Trek used to do. The trick is knowing that and not get twisted into a narrative.
Well, not only that, but Trek knew. I mean, they could have covered anything they wanted to, which they did. They covered controversial issues, but
yeah,
there were
did.
certain things. Right, they knew that, but there were certain things where they knew to draw the line, because they weren't going to offend or divide their fan base.
Right. I think
this show has no bounds.
I think they did a better job with Outcast. If you know,
and they handled it right, and they handled the issues better, in my opinion. I guess with better writers, they were able to handle the issues better, more tactfully, and more equally showing both perspectives, in my opinion.
Yes. And when they did villain somebody, it wasn't somebody on the ship. It was an external. It was an external
Right. Sure, of force.
Group of people.
Alien or something else, right?
Right. And Clyden is alien, but he's part of the ship and should be treated like family, but that's not the case.
I just saw it as a full conspiracy against him, but oh well. And against
Hi
the
there,
Union.
Chris Persia. And I too shall pray to the cosmic snort that Seth regains clarity and steers clear of the soapbox.
It depends on how much control he has at this point.
Dalek451 says, thanks for the thought pop. You're right. This is like the downhill spiral of Doctor Who, a sci-fi show being written as soap opera with no sci-fi.
Oh, sorry to hear that.
Oh, thank you, Chris. I hope you enjoy it. Hungry Boy says, in Australia, sassy short people are called pocket rockets, Jill. Oh my gosh. A pocket rocket captain, please.
So watch out.
Exactly. That's awesome. I love Australia. Tiger Stripe says, I don't know if you're touched on this, but given that this episode and the previous episode were written 3 years ago, they seem incredibly prescient.
Yeah, they were then, but they're more so now, I would say, yes. Well, think about it, because we've had politics, it's so much brought into our face. It has saturated Hollywood. Everything we see, everything around us is now saturated by it. So, I don't think it's a coincidence, by the way. It's definitely not a coincidence. Once again,
I don't think Roddenberry was worried about offending the audience. He fought for his controversial choices.
Well, I agree. There was a lot of controversies which he dealt with, but I think he dealt with them in a better manner, without, like I said, without dividing people, right? Or having to alienate one side or the other, right? Maybe.
Yeah, he did. Yes, the decision to change Topa sex had to be conspiratorial because it was so political. And pocket rocket means something else entirely here in the U.S.
Oh, careful where you use it, I guess, huh?
We call those fun size here in the States. Yes, it does. Tiger Stripes. And my favorite slang for short women is pocket Venus. I haven't heard that one.
I haven't heard it.
Okay. Well, what a wonderful chat we've had here today. And we've also had a poll going on. We've had 27 votes so far. As I keep talking,
nice.
more votes are coming in. So we'll check that poll out. And Pop Culture, I couldn't be more grateful for you joining me every week to review the Orville.
It's a pleasure being on the stream. I'm not sure if it's so much as a pleasure watching these shows, but your stream is always fun.
Yes, I wanted to remind you that we did have fun for 2 seasons. So, you never know, might come back.
Go back and watch those. You'll see us laughing, and we're actually analyzing the episodes for its merits and the good things that we like about it.
And there were lots of good things.
Yeah, it was a completely different subject at the time because we didn't have the politics up front. It's just I miss those days. Can you show that poll again? I missed that.
Oh, yeah, sure.
I just now zoomed
there you
in.
Go.
Oh, good. Okay, most people enjoyed it. All right.
Yes, and but we did have an array of different answers here, and I wanted to thank everybody for being here. And Hakame says the stream is better than the episode. Oh, thank you so much.
Always,
that means a lot to me.
Same here. I totally agree. Right. I feel so much better after the stream. I feel horrible after watching the episode because I'm like, oh, how are we going to talk about this?
Yeah, now this show
have fun.
Now this show is more of a therapy session.
It is. It's exactly what it is. Right?
Oh, did I miss Bird of Prey popping in? Hello.
Kapla, Bird of Prey. So good to see you.
Kapla.
Bird of Prey, please, if you get the opportunity, go back and rewatch this stream. I know you're a busy person.
Sure. And
we're getting ready to wrap it up here soon.
And JP, hello in the chat to JP RPH.
Hello there.
My initial reaction was that I didn't like it. I think you hit it on the nose. It reminded me of a PSA. After school special was my thought, with a little sci-fi. Great stream and great chat. I agree. What an amazing chat I'm blessed with here. I'm just so happy you guys are here. And Hungry Boy says, "Oh dear, Tiger Stripes back." What did Tiger Stripes say? Oh. Mini store, sick mini store on the corporation. Mini store is a smaller version of Snortopoopas. That
another YouTube user?
No, it's a puppet that Raymond Feliciano shows on his King Dolphin TV show. His channel. So also subscribe to King Dolphin TV. I put links to the channel, but my bot's not working today, so I'd have to do it all manually. I don't know. Let's try again. Maybe it'll work now. So Tiger Stripe says, "Wow, I did not like the episode. You've hit it on the nose, describing it as an after-school special."
Yeah, it felt like it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good job there. That about summed it up. It's still miles better than Strange New Worlds. Well, of course.
I won't argue that. I think we're all in agreement there.
Definitely. I mean, but that kind of statement is a pretty low bar to be setting for a show that I love. It's really tough for me.
Thank you, Hakame.
Agreed, Hakame. This stream's a lot more fun than whatever the episode was.
Whatever, exactly. I'll forget about it because, like a trauma, I'll just forget about it the best I can, right?
Mm-hmm. So Face has a lot of great points of view from the panel and chat for this episode.
I agree. Thank you.
And Bird's been listening for a few minutes.
Great.
And it definitely spurred a lot of discussion among the fans. Definitely true. It did get us talking.
It does. It which is great. It's always a good thing. But when they divide them, is a problem, right?
Mm-hmm. But when we can get together and not be at each other's throats, that's a good thing.
Absolutely.
So
and it's fun, right?
We
so
succeeded.
Right. So you get an example here, everybody. We have two opposing opinions sometimes. And we get along absolutely fine. We don't have to raise our voices or yell or scream, and we both get our points across. And we're still good friends.
Absolutely.
My favorite stream on YouTube, seriously. Now I'm not being judgmental because I'm on it, but they all seem to degrade to something or other, another drama. But I love this one's an intelligent, in my opinion, thought out stream, and you get to hear different sides without people trying to shout down others and other things. So, but anyway, sorry.
And if anybody ever wants to join us, they're always welcome. And oh my God, yes, Orville, hail anti-derivative Jill.
Hello there.
Panel. Can't see who that is in the chat. Hello, Kai. I was in his chat last night. He has a late night show on Monday, Wednesdays, Fridays. He just started back up his channel and his
nice.
His channel content, and is having so a lot of new, he's offering a lot of new services for his viewers, and we'll see where he goes with that. Okay. Thank you for showing up.
Yeah, thank you for being here. Absolutely, welcome.
And Tale of Two Topas was brilliant, according to Kai. And hello, Kai. Kapla to Raymond Feliciano and all. Yeah, that's great.
Everybody check out Bird of Prey 5's channel. It's absolutely fantastic.
Yes, Bird of Prey 5 has a wonderful channel, and my bot doesn't want to work today, so I'm going to have to put things in one at a time. So let's see if we can have some side conversation. If there's anything you want to talk about pop culture,
I can talk about it for a second. Here's the good news, everybody. Is we were talking about how the current Star Trek, how I know some people have other opinions, but a lot of us are in the general thought process that we don't like the new Star Trek. And we were referring to how this stream was actually more fun than watching the episode, all right? So using that frame of mind, I want you to keep in mind that. I highly recommend one of the main reasons, many why I recommend Bird of Prey 5's channel is Bird of Prey 5 will put himself up there as a human shield and watch the new Star Trek. And then his reviews are wonderful. So you don't have to suffer by watching those terrible Discovery, Picard, and Strange New Worlds and all that garbage. Just watch Bird of Prey 5 reviews. And he may rant sometimes, which I do not blame him because I'm in total agreement with them. But I recommend it. He's never boring, and he's got a lot of material on there for you to view. So definitely, and he's got a sweet, funny mother, Momo Prey. So say hi to her sometime.
Yeah, so you know where his humor comes from.
Absolutely. Oh yes, absolutely. And his intelligence.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's very naturally funny, and I love to listen to his streams too. And yes, Bird of Prey 5 for uncensored, unrated Bird of Prey.
That's right.
And
you can go back and watch his old stuff, and there'll be enough to make you laugh for a long time. So he's got plenty of videos going way back.
Mm-hmm. And there's Kai's channel and Sci-Fi Nation. And
I hope someday I have my name on my channel. I don't know what it takes, but maybe someday.
Oh, 100. You need 100 subscribers to get your name.
Thank you. I'll shoot for that.
Yeah. So all we got to do is get you to 100. Get pop culture to 100. The next Topa episode was going to be a tightrope to tackle, and they did a great job of hitting the theme from multiple angles and being both questioning and supportive, says Kai MFS.
Interesting.
Sub to Resolute Germ and 100 subs, and then you can customize your URL, says Sci-Fi Nation.
Thank you, Sci-Fi.
And at 18 concurrent viewers, this is the most amount of viewers I've ever had. So thank you, everybody.
Very nice.
And Kai says it doesn't take a stance on transitioning and focuses on the individuals and how they treat and look at each other and loving people for who they are, not who you want them to be.
I agree with that statement. Yes, that's how we were. Yeah, we kind of brought that up earlier, Kai, before you got here. Is it wasn't so much focusing on the transition; it was how they dealt with it. So, yeah, would you agree with that, Jill?
Yeah, that's a beautiful way to look at it. Thank you, Kai.
Yeah.
Pop Culture Curator says, you have to admit, many of us watch Bird of Prey's reviews in anticipation of a bird rant.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, the secret is out. Yes, it's true.
And Tiger Stripe says, I like that it was pro-woman. And Sci-Fi Nation says, at 500, you unlock the community tab. I only need 25 more. Sad.
Nice.
Yay.
Still a lot more than
you'll
I
get
have,
there.
Yeah.
You'll get there.
Yep.
Wow. Right. You need 500. You need 500 subscriptions in order to use YouTube as an actual social media platform.
Oh, so mine's not even that right now.
Yeah, right. I mean, you can speak on your comment section, in your videos, but you don't get the community. You don't get the community tab.
Okay, I'm not. It's okay. I don't focus on that. So yeah, it's no biggie.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks.
And hello in the chat to Pacific 414. And normally I like to share the channels and everything, but it's just a little bit tedious today because my bot decided to quit.
Yeah, her bot's on strike, everybody. Sorry about that.
Yeah,
Hello, Pacific.
The bots feel like they're being used. And
right, you know how it is. Everybody these days is a victim, right? They're all being they're all being oppressed.
So I don't know. I felt like this episode was a little more complicated than that, but if you want to see more, you can see my stream. And thank you everybody for joining me. Thank you Pacific 414, Resolute Germ, Snortopupus, Cuber, Dalek 451, Sci-Fi Nation, Tiger Stripes, Krish Persia. Wow, so many wonderful people. Bird of Prey 5. I didn't say you already. Darius Munchausen. I always love seeing you in chat. And Hungry
Absolutely
Boy.
good to see you, Darius.
Hungry for Oprah to leave the Orville. Me too.
And hungry for Oprah. We need to figure out and get our organized and start doing a stream on horror movies.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, definitely.
We've been talking about the classics. I think we could do many things.
Mm-hmm. That sounds wonderful. and Pop Culture Republic, Hackme, JPRPH, Raymond Feliciano, who has his King Dolphin TV. If you want to tune in tomorrow to King Dolphin TV's channel, he will be having Stephanie Janice Sex Smuggler. I don't know if I said it right, her name, but on his channel. So I think it's a Star Wars YouTuber.
Very cool.
I don't frequent Star Wars channels that don't talk about Star Trek.
Yeah, if you hear Smuggler's Canteen, that's probably Star Wars.
Mm-hmm. And thank you, Chris Persia and Dalek 451. Thank you for joining the panel briefly. And
yeah, I'd like to personally too thank all of you for being here.
Yes,
it really helps when we have all these ideas to bounce off of everybody. And you know, another thing that I know I brought it up before, but I want to bring it up again, is I think the reason why we have the best review is we've had almost a week to think about it. Is a lot of the reviews right fresh after the show, they don't have time to absorb it, so they seem to be all 100%. Oh, it's perfect. It's absolutely flawless. There's nothing wrong with it. And then what I do is I watch a lot of reviews on the different channels, like Orville Nation, Clobber and Times, all that, and then I kind of bring that into perspective when I do this review at the end of the week, so it kind of helps. So what you hear me bring in is not necessarily just my opinion, but what I hear different people talking about in the other reviews, I try to bring it all into one place. So thank you. Sorry.
Yes. Thank you for doing that for me, because I don't watch all of the reviews. I
don't watch them all either, but a lot of times things that even I don't notice. I'm like, I'll make sure to bring that up on Jill's stream. So I do. I'll bring it up here.
I appreciate that. Thank you for doing that, because I was mostly going with.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. I was mostly going.
You first.
Yeah, I was mostly going with Raquel and Clobby on the Clobby Clubhouse, but Raquel says she doesn't want to review it anymore, so I'm gonna have to.
Yeah, see, right. Raquel and I see eye to eye, and we think very similarly. If you and I were not doing these reviews, I would have stopped watching this and deleted it from my server, because I have all of it on my server. But I'm not sure if I'm a fan anymore. But I'm a fan of this stream, so I will continue watching it for that.
Thank you.
But if I was not, I probably would not watch it anymore.
Maybe I can review the next one with you, Joe. You're always welcome to join us here on the panel.
Absolutely. A panel's open for anybody.
Yeah.
More opinions, the better.
Right.
We promise you will be treated fairly and equally. And with respect.
And Dalek says that he reviews the episode with Potato Revan on his channel every Friday night.
Yes, sometimes I'm able to catch that.
Right. And I will be on Nerdporial's after show, which is directly after the episode. So I'll be.
And that I won't watch only because I'm not able to watch the Orville until the next day, and I don't want to spoil it. So I won't be there for Nerdporial.
And Nerdporial spoils it immediately.
Yes. But basically, yeah, right. So a lot of times when you guys hear me bring opinions in, they're not necessarily mine. They're ones I've heard on other streams. It's just I thought, well, that's an interesting point. So I kind of make a note of each one, and then I kind of bring them all together in this one review, because it's great to hear all these different opinions in one place. Mm-hmm. So that's why I mentioned earlier, politically, don't blame me for what I bring up about politics or religion. I'm not talking about for myself necessarily, but it's different opinions I hear from other people on the other streams.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and together, I appreciate you bringing all those different views here.
Right, I even bring in some that I heard from Dalek on Potato Ribbons. So that's the reason why I watch those other reviews, so I can listen, and I know that I'm going to hear something that I didn't really necessarily catch when I watched the episode. And it's like, oh, that makes sense. And so I write it down and I include it. So.
And Kai says Potato Revan kicks ass.
Yep, that's another channel we recommend everybody. Potato Revan.
Yes, and at the moment I only watch it for this stream. Hungry for Oprah to leave the Orville.
Yeah, the less abuse, the better. Just kidding.
And Snorapoopas Cuber says to Raymond, "You'll be back to smashing sharks soon enough." Oh, with his teeth.
There you go.
Same here. I'm not staying up until 3 a.m. to watch it, says Sci-Fi Nation. Oh, and Mark D with C is here.
Hey, Mark.
When did he get here?
Hail.
I always miss people. Thank you for saying hi to him, Raymond. Hail to Mark D with the C. And my bot doesn't want to work, or I know I missed some people's channels, but there's just too much chat and I can't do it.
Yes, everybody. I know we kind of mentioned this. I know we
my
mentioned
bot's not working.
We mentioned it kind of slightly, but we recommend the channel Clobbering Times is where you'll see Mark D with the C on there, along with Clobby and Raquel.
Yeah, Clobby, Raquel.
And their Orville stream is on Fridays.
Well, it was on Thursday, but
Thursday.
But Raquel doesn't want to talk about it anymore, so it's not going to happen.
Oh no, yeah. Well, go back and check the previous
but it is still, the stream still does happen. They still have Clobby's Clubhouse where they talk about. But the point is, she wants to have fun on her stream, so they're going.
I do not blame her.
Yeah,
like I said, if I was her, I'd be doing the same thing. Remember, I told you before, I only want to. That's why I don't cover things on my own channel that I dislike. I only want to cover things that I like because exactly for this reason, right?
Right, exactly. And I totally understand that perspective. So I don't, but definitely still go to Clobby's Clubhouse because that is fun stuff.
Yeah, I don't want to do reviews on my channel for new Trek, but I would do TOS any day. I would jump at the chance to do TOS.
Yeah, okay. Then maybe we'll be doing that. Because it's either that or I'd do All for All Mankind, which I was curious about.
And I haven't seen it, but I've heard I think Birdlook thinks of it highly.
Mm-hmm. And since we mentioned Raquel, I should put this here too. Oh, Sci-Fi Nation says Streamlabs had an update. It might be that. Yeah, that makes sense.
Streamlabs or Stream Elements? Streamlabs?
Streamlabs. Yeah, I have Stream Elements, not Streamlabs. I'm confused.
Right. Well, the thing is, I think he's talking about the bots, but what I'm thinking is, what's affecting the bot? Is it Stream Element or Streamlabs?
It's a Stream.
It would be Labs. I don't know.
It's a Stream Elements, so yeah, it's different.
Like at least the bot is right. As
So
far as we know,
out.
the Stream Elements is just like another person logging into your channel, right?
Yeah.
Right. YouTube just sees it as another user logging into your channel.
Correct.
Okay.
And I would like everyone to please check out the literary works of R.M. Briggs, Raquel, who's been mentioned in the show. I've read 2 of them so far. And the 2 I read were really, really fantastically written. And they're short stories like Twilight Zone. And they really are like that.
Ooh, just my type. Yes.
Yeah.
I'll check that out.
You really should. And one of them kind of reminds me of the past couple of years, and also Orwell. And then another one, I can't even describe the other one without giving away the end. So just I read Lila and Charmaine so far. So if you're interested in that, here's her little spiel for it. So,
nice, very cool.
Right, and there's Mark's channel. He has all the toys, like all of them. I don't know how he keeps all of them, but he has everything. It's great.
Good. Yes, and check out he even has the Orville ship. He's Enterprise. Oh, yeah,
all right,
I can look at his room forever. Yeah.
Right, he has 3D printer, so he can make stuff, really cool stuff, like the Doomsday Machine. And here's Clobby's channel. Clobbering Times has also Clobby has the Clubhouse on Thursdays, like I said, which Hungry Boy says sci-fi, food, and comics talk at the Clubhouse, plus Mark's creations. So also Clobbering Times also has Saturday Night Star Trek. We just finished TNG, So we're going to move into the TNG movies for a couple of weeks. We're going to review Generations and First Contact this week, and next week we'll go over the other two movies.
How many TNG movies were there?
Nemesis. 4.
Okay.
Yeah. Star Trek. This week is Generations and First Contact. Next week it's Insurrection and Nemesis.
Oh, I see. So you're doing 2 per episode, okay? Or 2
yes,
per stream.
Two movies per stream. Mm-hmm.
Gotcha.
And then after that, after we finish reviewing the movies, then we'll move on to reviewing Deep Space Nine.
Excellent. I can't wait for Raquel's perspective.
So if yeah. I mean, maybe it'd be easier instead of relying on a bot just to make people moderators. So, maybe I'll do that here.
Bad bot.
Yeah, right. Already at this point. If you have a channel, I'll just give you a wrench here. And the bots failed me. So let's just make it easy.
Yeah, see what you get for minimum wage.
And Hungry Boy was a little preemptive during our TNG stream, saying he was hungry for no more Riker, but we still got 2 more weeks of Riker. So.
Thank you, Raymond. Have a good day.
Yes. Yes. Raymond says bye. Time to clean the ferret.
Oh, I wish I had ferrets. Yes, he had an excellent stream the other day, and he had a visitor on the chat there who was a ferret expert, and she was showing a bunch of them. It was fun. But I'm in California where they're illegal. You have to get them kind of underground.
Oh my goodness, that's just silly. They're
harmless.
They seem like fine. They seem like fine little pets.
They are. They're harmless, but California is California, right?
Mm-hmm. For all things Dolphin Wars, please visit this link tree / the Dolphin Wars, and read Raymond's book, The Dolphin Wars. Let's have fun chasing down the Slinkies. And Snarpoopus is referring to the ferrets being Slinkies. And soon, no more Riker. Yay, says Hungry Boy. Deep Space Nine is the best Trek show. Yes, a lot of people do say that.
People seem to think that, yes.
I put it right next to TOS, so I hope you enjoy watching it with us on Saturday Night Star Trek Pop Culture.
I have not seen it yet myself.
All right. Yeah, that's exciting that you haven't seen it. I can't wait. Shakes his finger at the bad Russian bots for not doing their work, says Chris Berger. This is why creators have wrenches on my channel, Joe. Oh, yeah, that's what I'm doing. I'm trying to wrench people. And if you guys have a channel and you want to wrench, just ask me. I might not get everybody here, so just remind me what's going on, and I'll wrench you. I could always unwrench you if I need to. Why not? At this point. And I just want to thank everybody for being here.
Yeah, honestly, I can sleep better tonight knowing this is behind me.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, everybody. Yeah, I really appreciate it. And thank you, Jill. It was always fun.
Yes. Yes, thank you, everyone, for joining me today. And I will leave you with next week's episode. Be patient, though. It takes DS9 a season to get in stride, and then boom.
Is that right? I heard 2 or 3.
Yeah, 2 or 3. But you know what? I think even in retrospect, even season 1 isn't that bad, because right away you can see they're trying to build the characters, and they don't quite have them right, but they're actually trying. So I'm going to go ahead and...
As long as there's action too, I don't mind that, but I like a little action mixed in with my talking head.
Oh yeah, you're going to get action.
Good. Okay.
So yeah, Nighty-O, Mark D with C. Take care, everyone, says Mark. And Sci-Fi Nation says, great stream. Take care, everyone. And so now I will close the poll. What grade would you give the Orville New Horizons, Episode 5, A Tale of Two Topas? And we
Me?
get... Oh, yes, you.
Oh, I'm sorry. Same as last week. The
Same as last week, an F.
Last option.
Yeah.
And only because of the politics. I wish we weren't talking about the politics. I wish we were talking about something else. Anything.
Yeah, so, yeah, right. If it were simply the fairy tale that it seems to be, I would give it a B.
Yeah,
but because of the politics, right?
Yeah, because yeah.
I give it a D, but I know you give it an F, and that's fine. And you know what? All opinions are welcome here. And so people who think it's an A, there are 32% who give it an A.
Yeah, that's fantastic. That's fine.
25% give it a B, and another 25 give it a C, and 17 give it from D to an F.
Gotcha. And
see you next time, Jill. Hopefully next episode will be worth seeing.
We always hold out hope.
And you gave me a wrench. Yay, thanks, Jill. You're welcome.
Congratulations.
Yep, congratulations to everybody who got wrenched. If you need a wrench just to share your channel, you want to share a channel.
You get a wrench, and you get a wrench, and you get a wrench.
Yeah, right. Right. Hungry
Speaking
Boy.
of Oprah.
I know, right? Hungry Boy wanted less Oprah, and here I am. Giving out wrenches.
That meme will forever be all about her, right? Every time you hear that,
right.
You know, it'll go down in history long after she's gone.
Mm-hmm. Well, that was kind of fun, I guess. You get a car, and you get a car. It's like, yeah,
well, and it's funny because it backfired in her face because she got in trouble because of all the people got stuck with the taxes, and now they all had to sell those cars.
Oh, they did?
You didn't hear that?
No.
Yeah, it was a big controversy because she gave them all cars, but stuck them with the taxes on the cars. And most of them couldn't afford them, so they were able to they had to sell the cars, or some of them ended up just in poverty because of the cars. So she kind of caught slack for that. So I think she had a second episode later on where she said, "You get a car and you get a car, but you paid the taxes." But that's the reason why it's so infamous to this day. I'll put it that way, is because it looks so great on camera, but it actually put those families in despair.
Incredible. I didn't hear about that story.
And they were Pontiacs, which they no longer even make anymore. That's the reason why she did that, because they were struggling at the time, Pontiac. And it didn't work. Let's put it that way. Her advertising didn't help.
I didn't even know it was an advertisement. Anyway, that's incredible news. I was a kid when Oprah was on the air, so I didn't really see the ramifications of it.
No, that's okay. And that was behind the scenes, right? You saw what was on camera. So yeah.
And Snartapoopa says, "Nah, I lost interest in being a wrench when I found out I couldn't ban myself." Great stream and chat. See you all next week. Clam heads for wrenches.
There you go.
Clam heads. Calm heads. Clam heads. Yes.
Right. It's calm, not clam, right?
Yeah, but it's clam now. Well, anyway.
Thank you, Jill. Thank you, everybody.
You're welcome.
Definitely the highlight of my week. I had a blast. I'll be having a Ray Bradbury watch party here coming up a little bit this afternoon if you're interested in that sort of thing. It's an anthology series by a famous sci-fi writer. He wrote for such shows such as Twilight Zone, the original. So if you're into that sort of thing, I highly recommend sub to my channel maybe, or check out a stream.
Yes, please go check out Pop Culture Curator's channel and watch Ray Bradbury. It'll be fun.
Yeah, we won't be bogged down in politics, I promise.
Right. It's actually good storytelling. So Kai MFS says, "I just realized I've been sitting here without hitting the like button. Did anyone else forget? Go check.
Thank you, Kai. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Kai.
Hit that alert button, everybody, if you want to check out future streams.
That's always been a gotcha on game shows with the prizes, the taxes.
Yes, they have, right. Can you imagine winning the Prices Right? Both showcases?
Oh my God. Yeah, right. You get a whole bunch of stuff.
We would sell one showcase to pay for the other.
Okay, so yeah, that's all I have for you today. Next week, this Friday, I will have my Friday show. I don't know what I'll talk about. Probably, I might talk about the Strange New Worlds finale just because it's fun to beat up on it with Clobby.
Well, the last Friday one about Canada was really good. You had a lot of people on there. That nice stream.
Yeah, I know, and that last Canada one didn't have any of that on it, so that was a nice stream. I got away from that. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So yeah, it's another one I recommend everybody her stream on Friday.
Yeah, so I'll have any kind of random fun on there, and normally I'll show my little Worf clip here. This one. Where's my Worf clip? Right here.
Good tea. Nice house.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, now, so I have not seen the preview yet for next week. Do you have that lined up?
Yes, I do. So
okay, great. I always wait for this show to watch it, so it's fresh in my mind.
Okay, so I'll see you all next time.
Thank you, everybody. Like I said, I really appreciate you all being here and listening to us.
Yes, thank you for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed today's review. I'll leave you with this preview of next week's episode, Twice in a Lifetime.
Peace,
Have
everybody.
a great day, everyone. See you next time.